Good afternoon and welcome to finals afternoon of the Somerset Champion and Champion fours here in Hastings at the Hastings Bowling Club complex. And in front of you there you will see the board, the women's fours, where this morning we saw Pirongia, the Waikato, defeat Carlton Cornwall. We saw the Kensington combination of Whangarei defeat the Martinborough side. Taiaroa, the Taiaroa South representing Bay of Plenty up against Palmerston North in the Manawatu. And it was Palmerston North that ran out the winners in that game. And Hunua of Counties Manukau up against Takapuna from North Harbour. And it was Takapuna that won their way through. And in the men's, we're through to that. Look at the draw there, you'll see. We're now through to that semi-finals where we had Taiaroa South of Bay of Plenty, from the Bay of Plenty Centre. They'll be up against the Martinborough of Wairarapa, who this morning beat Omananui from Hawke's Bay. Paritutu of Taranaki, who had a real clincher, real nail-biting game against the Point Chevalier side of Auckland this morning. And Hillcrest of Waikato up against the South Canterbury side of the West End club. So this afternoon we will see West End up against Paritutu and Martinborough versus Tauranga in the semi-finals.
Down onto here.
So play just getting underway. The first end, you'll see on the right of the screen there, the Paritutu side, that's skipped by Darren Goodin, and the West End side from South Canterbury, skipped by Barrie Andrews. And in the women's, we've got the sides of the Whangarei, the Kensington side, skipped by Patricia Murray, and the side from Pirongia and the Waikato, skipped by Gaylene Kanawa. They had a real tight tussle against the Carlton Cornwall side this morning. With me is Dave Hewitt, and we'll be with you right throughout the afternoon here for the semi-finals and finals. So hopefully, Dave, we've got a good afternoon in front of us here.
I'm sure we will. If the standard is anything like this morning, it's going to be another good afternoon.
So the Paritutu had a real big tussle this morning. The ladies were also through to post-section play. They went down earlier on today, but the men had a really tight tussle against the Paritutu, against West End, and you'll see it is the Paritutu side with the black discs on black discs on their bowls, and South Canterbury with the white disc. You'll see the jack level bowl just out to the side of the jack. That's the South Canterbury bowl. And in the women's, it is Waikato. It's the Gaylene Kanawa side with the black stickers on their bowls. In the Northland side, Kensington with the white, as we watch Darren Goodin, well-performed Paritutu skip coming down, needs to be inside the white bowl here, not going to do so. But very, very good player, long-time Taranaki representative is Darren Goodin, Rodger Hassall as well. And I've been very impressed. I've been very, very impressed, Dave, with the number 3, the youngster, Adam Collins from the Paritutu side. Only a youngster, but certainly he's got all the shots.
They played very well this morning, didn't they? It was a great game to watch.
They certainly did play well. They played very, very well indeed.
2 youngsters and 2 more experienced bowlers on that side. Good balance. Just looking at the start here, this woman's head is very tight already for a first end. They've got used to the
he's on the
quickly.
drive. Here is the Paritutu skip. Got nothing. I'm picking. Looked to be the jack level bowl that was shot to Dave. We'll just wait and see.
Let's get a signal.
A signal from I know various players out there on the green are marked. And yes, it is the Timaru side who have got the jack. And this other end over here, well, just gave the shot away there, did Gaylene Kanawa. Just got the back of the bowl, turned it over. And the skip here, Patricia Murray now, can play down with confidence, down on that forehand side.
As you'll see in the background, Kevin, we've got a good crowd again. It's been good all weekend.
It has.
not a bad-looking bowl here. If she gets a little
Just
rubber
gonna
foot,
run the front.
It's not quite.
So it is one to the Kensington side to open their account, and in the Paritutu game, of course, Rodger Hassall. In fact, Rodger Hassall and myself started bowls, I think, the same year in Taranaki, and played in the Taranaki juniors together, and have had many, many battles over there. But the good thing about Rodger is he's a great two-copper supporter. And, of course, yesterday we saw two-copper defeat Clifton, the boys from Whiteship, and win the Taranaki Championship. So there was great celebrations in the two-copper gym last night. And I had some photos sent to me, and I've got a funny feeling from some of the photos we've seen again today that celebrations may still be continuing, I think, at Sanders Park. So well done to the Blue and Whites, well done to the Chooks, the greatest club in Taranaki, and congratulations on your win the Taranaki Championship. And my cousin, Lindsay Thompson, who I believe was,
Vicki, this is the
who's,
nice straw hand.
I think he's my president of the club, or he's something, but he is, the Thompson name is iconic with two-copper, and I know he was there last night to welcome the victorious side back when they came back from Vogeltown Park with a Taranaki Championship in the belt. So enjoy, boys.
Yeah, we had Kevin Gledhill with us on Friday, who went back to Taranaki after commentating here to commentate on the rugby finals.
Another two-copper supporter. So good bowl there from the youngster. The young lead for the Paritutu side,
Nathan Goodin.
Nathan Goodin. And just so people be confused, not to be confused, the skip, the lead is Nathan Goodin. The skip is Darren Goodin, and they're not related.
Strange that, isn't it? Because it's not a common name spelt that way.
Well, there's a few down in Taranaki, down the coast. There's a few Goodins down there for sure. So in those earlier games, we had the Kanawa, the side from Pirongia, defeat the Carlton Cornwall side by the Karen Hema side 12 shots to 11. Tania Wheeler, all tight games. Tania Wheeler from the Martinborough side went down to the Kensington side 12-10. In the match between the Manawatu side, the Palmerston North side, it was the Palmerston North skip Mary Fryer, and they went against Taiaroa South, and it was Palmerston North ran at the winners 16 shots to 12. And in the other match, it was the Raywin Renell from Hunua up against Lisa Dixon from North Harbour, and it was the North Harbour side who ran out the winners by 15 shots to 9. In the men's, because they had a bye this morning for the Tauranga South side, who are out they're playing now. In the other matches, we had the side from Mamaranui would go down just by the single shot to the Garry Murawai Martinborough side, 17 shots to 16. In the Paritutu Point Chevalier game, which was the game with Darren Goodin, who are featuring now, it was a 12-10 to the Darren Goodin skip side, really tight match. And in the Timaru match up against Steve Liddington of Hillcrest and Hamilton, but it was a convincing 16-5 win to the men from Timaru. Thus they're out there now, and they're playing. It's Paritutu side. And really, Dave, it's you see that bowl there from the Paritutu side, right on. It's first to the jack, isn't it? And of course, at this stage, West End are locked. Their bowl locked on the jack. Here's the number 3 now for West End. Garry forward, playing with the white disc. Paritutu with the black.
That game this morning between Omaranui and Martinborough in the men's. Martinborough dropped a 5 on the second to last end to go 1 behind and got a 2 back on the last to take the game. So it was certainly created an interesting finish.
That's taking it the hard way, isn't it?
It is.
So here's the young Taranaki number 3, Adam Collins on his backhand, gets the bowl away. Just needs to get past this front bowl, not going to do so, going to get tangled up, but it is the...
That's what you're beating, mate.
It is the... Well, he ran into one of the Taranaki bowls.
Up through there. Playing through to me, mate.
So you hear Barrie Andrews, well-known bowler out of Timaru. Winner of the New Zealand Peers a few years ago. Saying, reach down to that shot bowl. Just question the line. Might get a gratuitous slide here. and does.
Hey, ball.
And in the women's, Kensington under the mountain in Whangarei. And Skye Renes, the number 3 in the side.
Might do it for us, will
A
it?
real, what I would call,
Oh, bad luck. Bad luck, mate.
a real,
Bad luck.
she just loves it. She's
Enthusiast.
but they won't be getting much coverage if I can't see, if we can't see the rink.
No, that's right.
So if they want to stand in front of the head, go for their lives. But
I've found during commentary it's not so bad early on in the games, they remember, but once they start to get excited towards the end, they're all over it.
Split them. Oh, sit there. Great bowl.
It's a good bowl by
yeah, lovely bowl came down there from the number 3 for the Waikato side, the Pirongia side. Sheryl Olsen sat on what was the counting bowls, the white disc counting bowls of the Kensington club. And it is white. It is the Barrie Andrews
you're
bowl
right. No,
holding
Garry.
shot as well in this. I thought they replayed an end. I can't see the scoreboard. Can you see that?
No, I can't. And two of the women playing in the Pirongia side were in commentary with us yesterday. Gaylene did one game and Vicki did one with me last night. So they've been in here and you will have heard them talking about the bowls and their clubs and so forth.
So Darren Goodin, the skip on the mat, very, very well performed player out of the Paritutu club in Taranaki, and been a consistent performer for a long time, just trying to get down to the shot bowl or jack and a sit on top of the bowl, just the one down, got 3 hanging around it, but difficult to dislodge. Barrie Andrews now,
Garry.
the very stalwart of South Canterbury, and the West End club in Timaru. Long time, real great supporter of his province, and of course represented South Canterbury for many, many, many years in cricket, and chalked up a lot of milestones in his days as captain of South Canterbury in one of their great Hawke Cup eras. So here's on the mat now is the Paritutu skip, and of course the other semi-final which will be going on, of course, in the men's is that of Tauranga South up against Martinborough, and we'll give you score updates of the other matches as well. So here is Goodin on the backhand, trying to reach through to the jack or the shot bowl. Just depends how far. I don't think it's going to come back from out there. It got out on that wide side. It'll be a one. So now they've adjusted those now. So we're now at.
We're underway.
We're now 2. It's the West End side who are leading 2-0 after 2, and it is Kensington leading Pirongia 1-0 as we come to the near the end of the second end in the women's semi-final.
And we'll also be bringing you updates on the second women's semi-final, which is going on out there at the same time as what we're seeing here.
So under the head is Harvey trying to get the jack clean through the port. Won't do so, may do so.
Toucher.
I'll leave it to those to judge. Have a look over the top and see who's got shot. Just a word of advice to the ladies. There is a thing called a measure and an umpire, and by goodness it gets a quick result.
We were commenting about that this morning, how many times people walk around the head and look and look and look, and one or two others out there were just, as soon as it looked close, down came the measure.
Absolutely.
Get on with it.
Yeah,
particularly this morning when it was on time limit.
of all of my years of playing bowls, I've never actually seen the head change by looking at it.
You're not wrong. It's one of those little things that happen in bowls, isn't it, Kevin, like we talked about the other night. People waving at the bowls and talking to them, that doesn't change them either.
So it is a 1 to the Kensington side. After the measure, it was the Patricia Murray skip side.
Try one here, mate.
And really in this Paritutu West End game, it's just really, I think it's going to be a matter of which lead finds home first, because your lead and playing on the always makes a big difference. But on the carpet, if you can get that good start to just lower the jack, dead in front of the jack, or just in behind, like
the one's just arrived.
Yeah, it just sort of sets you up pretty well moving forward as we see the lead for the Northland side. And Herbert. And that's going to be a metre or so lower the jack, and here's a chance here for Timaru to really sort of coax things home.
Yeah, coming in nicely, Vicki.
So Vicki, Coll just draws lower the jack for the Pirongia side. Shot.
Good home.
We've got some other results here.
No, they're the same ones as you got over there.
This morning's results.
Yep.
Oh, this is really, that's not a way to the jack. There's one thing on this carpet, Dave, you just simply, you cannot steer your bolt. You'll pay for it big time, won't you?
You will.
So here is Rodger Hassall. Now the name Hassall in Taranaki, of course, is synonymous with bowls. Well, got a not lucky slide. Was going to reach the head. Sits alongside the jack. Cause,
and is Grant Hassall still chair of Taranaki Bowls?
To the best of my knowledge.
Yeah,
son of. That's Rodger's son.
Yes, I know, yeah.
To the best of my knowledge, that no doubt at some point today I will get
a text.
I'll get some text of College of Knowledge stuff will come through, no doubt. But Grant is iconic with bowls in Taranaki and has done a sterling job. Continues well as that's why, for example, the Taranaki Fours are always so popular. It's the administration group, etc., as well, and the greenkeepers who do such a wonderful job to make sure that the Taranaki Open Fours is.
It's such an iconic event. It will stay like that.
It's a week you'll always remember. Yeah, it's certainly.
You come just under that bowl there, Garry.
So in that
through there,
women's match there, really, Dave, there's nothing near the jack, is there?
No, yet the first end was very tight. Now they seem to be getting used to it and have lost their way a bit.
Line, all on your way.
So you would have heard Barrie Andrews will know that line, Barrie, sitting from where I'm sitting, was never a line into the jack. It was always outside or inside that line to the jack, really. So every chance here for the young Taranaki number 3 for Adam Collins, holding shot, come down there on the backhand, just get a touch on the jack. Looks as though it's going to hold under the line and will do so.
And on the women's rink, Sheryl Olsen just played her second bowl and she's pulled up well short as well.
That line was good, bit more weight, just to me, through to me, mate.
So, finished up in pretty good home to the Taranaki Bowls. The one of Adam Collins leaves, of course, opens that port up to get to the jack. Barrie Andrews, though, rightly wanting to get from his side. Another bowl on the head, going to run into one of their own. The short bowl, and I think Taranaki really here they would like to move the jack a wee bit to take away, although that vision now might have cut off that option to get down to the jack on the other hand for the Timaru boys as well. We'll see what this bowl here of Adam Collins, that was always going to be under the line, but it's going to sit up, hold up.
A little nudge off that, no, didn't need it.
Well, he was a good result because the bowl fell in and fell right to the centre line. But so,
if he hadn't had his own bowl, he probably would have run away.
Well, the vision for Barrie Andrews is really only on one hand now to the jack, isn't it? Well, to play to follow that Taranaki bowl. Really
rest the shot bowl.
Rest the shot. because you're resting on the other hand, you're really resting the third shot, aren't you really? So although he's got a bowling behind, it's just more difficult to get to.
And on the women's ranks, the number 3 for Kensington has just played a bowl.
Skye Renes.
It's just a little over the head.
Well, it's the
Might
second
count.
shot.
Yep.
So Andrews, as we predicted, on that backhand, it looked narrow out of the hand, but it depends.
Depends on the weight
He's got
put
weight.
on, doesn't
He's
it?
got weight. He certainly has. Playing to get to the shot bowl. Might get a fortuitous slide too. Does. That was on. I know it's frustrating, but you know when you're up through their head and you're in the target area, it's on.
Well, with that weight, it was definitely intentional. He wasn't trying to draw it, was he? He was
No intention of trying to draw it, trying to get contact with the bowls. One of the things the ladies noticed it this morning, I'm going to go a bit of coaching verbatim out there. You don't have to have a dialogue after every changeover.
no.
Because the other thing I think it does, David, and I saw so often this morning deliberating what shot you're going to play. You know, you just get all these shots in your head, and you know then it just.
Always interests me when they have the skip changes down to the end and then the 3 steps up and says, play this. And she's just come from that end.
So you saw there, Darren Goodin endeavouring to get down to the jack. Hard shot to get to the jack there. Barrie Andrews up, having a look. So what was he looking at?
I'm not sure.
He played the shot,
Yeah,
and this is the points that I just sort of
just talked about.
So he played a very good shot, played a magnificent shot, right? He saw then the bowl of Goodin's go into the ditch.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can overcomplicate it a wee bit in you. Of course, Barrie, been around a long time, a very tenacious player, is the Taiaroa skip.
He's on the back end this time with less weight.
Trying to get down through the
Trying to draw to
port
it.
to get to the counting area, and it's just going to pull up short. And really, for the Paritutu side, I think there's just that. Well, there's not a lot on. 2-0 to West End after we're playing N3 of 15 and 2-0 to Kensington of Northland over Pirongia of the Waikato. And again, playing in 3 of 15. Barrie Andrews passing the courteous gesture, passing the ball through to Darren Goodin, the Paritutu skip. So here is Goodin
How much more, Denise?
playing up through. Well, I'm not sure what he's really playing there, to be fair, Dave.
No,
Trying
he
to
hasn't
reach.
got the weight to get here, has he?
No, not through that port. It'll be
One away.
one away, I think. So it is. It's 3-0 now. 3 after. As we 3 of 15. 3 singles scored by the Taiaroa side, and another. And it's
I thought I took more green too.
well, certainly as well. Kensington. Sorry, it was the Pirongia side who were going to open their account.
Looked like a couple from.
It did look like a couple, and that ditch hand out there, Dave's got a very generous, it's got a kind draw out there. You get rewarded for taking
Taking your green.
So the lead for the Barrie Andrews side, Shayne Chisnall, West End club. On his backhand. Seemed to get the bowl, cut the bowl out well. That should just a matter of how far it's going to arc back. And Gaylene, Kanawa's lead.
Track, buddy.
Vicki
Vicki
Coll.
Coll's has got it out on it. Well,
Very good
Yeah.
opener, Denise.
yeah, well
Foot
played.
off. Oh, Vicki, you too.
Came right back to that centre line. And here's the opening bowl from Nathan Goodin, which is just going to finish just a couple of bowls lower the jack. So Shayne Chisnall will try and adjust that line 2 each now, Pirongia versus Kensington. Well, there's a steering job right there. Well, it's just that adjustment from the bowl before, isn't it, really? And
Good track again,
and
buddy.
if you try and dare draw, of course, as we know, you will get into you'll get into trouble. So
Running a
So
wee
far,
bit.
the bowls have been a bit erratic, haven't they?
they have a bit. Nathan Goodin
Well
now.
settled.
And we'll just see where that line goes, because it is a lower, tighter line, but it is holding down towards that centre line and will sit on what is the... Well, two good bowls from the
Later, mate, Dobby.
youngster.
Paritutu lead.
This is a better bowl from the lead. On
There's a
the other lead.
Kensington second bowl. So, and
Through here,
here's the
you're finding a nice
promising
score through here,
youngster,
Sheryl.
Tom Taiaroa, out of the Timaru side. Very promising young player, just going to go by.
Right.
And Barrie Andrews saying, that's okay, that's all right.
Stayed up on the edge, so it's usable.
Come on.
Always a good home back there, isn't it? Always handy to have one back there. So, Rodger Hassall now. Rodger Hassall, the number 2 for the Taranaki side. He's going to be lower the jack.
Line's
But of
good, mate.
course, although he's low of the jack, it's really cutting that. It's making that line down there for any weighted shot just challenging. So it's important now for the Timaru side that they get a bowl. Tom Taiaroa, he gets a bowl on that backhand side, gets something onto the head. And
Sheryl Olsen on the other hands pulled up, on the other rink has pulled up well short. Trying to
well, one bowl low of really the line where the Barrie Andrews number 2 was. Certainly the had good weight. Hassall will want to try and improve on his weight now, on his forehand.
Better, mate.
Yeah, that bowl probably didn't help them. It's pushed the Paritutu bowl a little bit closer.
Yeah, it's just locked up that centre line a bit more, really, hasn't it, Dave?
Yep. Here he comes around the front ones. He's not far away, is Rodger Hassall.
Well, it's good. He'd like to have been a couple
Hey,
of
playing
bite
up
rolls.
here, playing through to
Just
me.
past the
Just
kitty
past
rather than
it.
just in front.
Stay
Yeah.
down, Sheryl.
But
Gives a little target now, doesn't it?
But in saying that,
just,
it is a difficult
Denise,
view
only
from the
just
other end
round
though as
here.
well, as it looks pretty small from where you're standing on the
Absolutely.
mat, doesn't it? Doesn't. So number 3 here for Barrie Andrew, Garry Ford, and certainly that's the sort of weight
That's
that
the
one
weight.
wanted to play, and that's really the weight. Now I'm picking that Darren Goodin will be looking for his number 3, Adam Collins, to get him that, just get him a bit over the head. And I would say in the women's match, it would be that white Kensington. Well, no, that could be the black. The
Not
bold.
sure about that. There might be the black one at the back, as we've said before, Kevin, on numerous occasions. It's not easy to judge these
Oh,
shots.
absolutely, absolutely, it's not. No, it's not. So the Paritutu bowl actually came up short of where that target area there wants to be on the backhand again.
Better line.
Is that Garry Ford? Heard.
Get a line, mate.
Better line is the call from Barrie Andrews. Is it going to hold up enough? Yes, it will. Get inside, outside,
Great bowl.
right. Well, good bowl. Just
Cuts
the
it down to one.
It's as good as the shot.
Can't see what's happening in the women's rink.
Well,
Somebody's
we won't-
standing in the way.
We won't be commentating very much of the women's match.
Possibly only one
we can't
now,
see
mate,
it.
but
They
you've
can't see it.
definitely got your
We
weight
won't
was
be
good.
commentating it.
Definitely got
Someone needs to tell them. So they change over. And the woman's good attempt here from the Paritutu number 3. Needed just a few more rolls.
Yeah, Steve Beale's been the sheriff, moving people around quite a bit. but
Well, and just
unfortunately, Beale's had to go to New Plymouth.
Yes,
for the
I'll say,
greenkeepers.
I'll say it now is they'll just get updates off the ends. It's all they'll be getting, because if we can't see the, I'm not going to try and, or you're not going to try and guess of what's actually
No, we're not.
of what's going on.
Skye Renes down playing her last bowl of this head. picture of concentration.
He used to play at North Harbour, and I said, always lives up north, I know that, but very, very keen bowler, was under the tutelage of Graham Darren whilst at North Harbour, and a very, very, very committed bowler. Barrie Andrews.
He's got interest in it. He's toddled off sideways watching the bowl closely.
Yeah, he's
Looks
close
like
to
another one of
getting
those
some
little weighted
contact
shots
here.
he
Not
played
the
last
port,
end.
is he? Oh, he's... Well, he nearly had a chance off 2 bowls. He ready to get the result through to the jack, didn't he? And he just... He
got through the gap clean, unluckily for him.
I don't know if the record still stands, but Barrie held the record for South Canterbury cricket for the most runs scored in South Canterbury and in Hawke Cup and provincial cricket.
I was going to say, being South Canterbury probably had a lot of Hawke Cup as well.
Yeah, it certainly was, and he scored some really big innings in those great Hawke Cup days. Slide coming in here for the
Pirongia
side, and well, I don't know, Dave. That could be 3. I'm just looking at the triangle there.
There's 3 at the
one either side of the jack,
and
both
one
at
behind.
the jack level line, and one in behind. That's what it looks like. So here's Andrews now on the mat.
I think on the women's game, Skye Renes has just pointed that one out on the side is the shot.
So Barrie Andrews has cut his green there. He knew that when he left the hand. So can the Whangarei, the Kensington player, doesn't look as though...
It came out wide. I think she just put it on the bank.
So here's a great chance for Gaylene Harvey for the Pirongia side. The Pirongia side to really take advantage. We're thinking that it's 3. Well, that would count, one would think there, Dave, I would say.
Yep. We'll soon know. One bowl to come.
Well, if just on the angle here, Dave, it looks like 4, but I'm not going to guess it.
Kensington Skip's changed her hand.
So it was Paritutu that scored. Well, she's on a better line. The Kensington Skip just going to depend on the weight. Needs to get a bit of speed on now.
There.
Not going to. Runs into the front. So they'll take them out. So 1, 2. Well,
1, 2,
one would
3.
think if those 3, the back one that was in, you would think, wouldn't you?
Think so.
And that's the measure they're going to now.
Yep. Hand's gone to the pocket. Out comes the tape.
So it was a 1 to Paritutu in that men's final as we play Ian 5. And it is the west end of Timaru leading Paritutu 3-1. Good opening bowl by the young lead for Taranaki, Nathan Goodin. I think I heard 4.
I think that I saw the 2 signals, but I couldn't see them clearly. But I think it was 4. Definitely.
6-2 after 4 ends.
4 to Pirongia, 6-2. 4 ends gone. We're now playing in 5.
So it was a big turnaround there for the Pirongia side, and all drawn in like a diamond, weren't they? 2 on the side, 1 front, 1 behind, and they.
And unfortunately for the Kensington Skip, she played 1 too wide and 1 a bit short, so didn't cut it down.
Nathan Goodin just jack low with his first, goes by with his second, and Shayne Chisnall the lead for Barrie Andrew with the blue bowl on his backhand with his golf hat on, Titleist golf hat. On the backhand,
Very good line.
and you'd
Vicki.
heard Barrie Andrew saying, good line. And how's the weight going to be to get all the way? Is it going to get all the way? I don't think so.
Nope.
And obviously, Dave, it must be frustrating as well, because the hands get clogged up early, don't they?
Yeah.
Dave? And it just, you're playing unders and overs. So Rodger Hassall, the builder.
We were commenting last night, Kevin, about the number of short bowls that were played and wondering if the green gets slower as it gets colder.
Well, it's interesting you say that. Talking to the guys, I was actually talking to them last night.
there,
late this afternoon. And yes, it does change, but I wouldn't say dramatically, but yes, it does change.
It wouldn't be like an outside.
Absolutely not. But I think it's just the old subconscious thing, though, Dave, that you just you've got to have the mindset that every bowl is going to be a metre through.
I think you've got to do that on all artificials, don't you?
Yeah, you know, if you think that you're just going to play and get that bowl here and if you're just going to get that natural, nice sort of finish towards the jack, yes, you will, providing you've got reaching weight.
Got the weight to get there.
If we're on Kochler, we know that we'll get a metre of running. That's just you just get that, just naturally get that. But you yourself on these surfaces, you've got to give the weight to get that result.
Yeah, and on most of these surfaces too, if you hit a bowl, it doesn't go very far.
Doesn't go very far. Great bowl here from Hassall coming through the port. How far is it going to go? Another bowl on the head though for the Taranaki side.
And this is not a modern carpet. This one's been down 20 years. It
Absolutely.
looks great nick still.
And only play one way.
Yep, and underneath it is a concrete base and then a wooden base.
Well, it's funny.
You can hear that when they drop them.
Well, I was going to say from
Great ball.
well played by the number 2 from Tom Taiaroa. Look at that, right on top of the jack. Paritutu here, one would think, would definitely have to change their hand on that backhand to try and... Sheryl Johns here, one of the Paritutu girls on the phone, texting results through. And Adam Collins would definitely want to try and reach. Looking closely at it. Has it got the weight to get all the way? He's trying hard, the youngster. Trying hard. How's that?
Bowl. Beauty.
Just that dead draw. Sits on the back of the jack.
Playing through to here.
Just enough weight to move the other bowl off and to sit him there himself.
Over the draw.
It's still one of the great things to watch, isn't it? Just to see the bowl just reach to the jack. Just that dead draw weight to get a result. I'm not saying it's a lost start, but to me it's still the most important though.
That Paritutu Point Chevrolet game you were talking about this morning that was close.
It was a game of ones, wasn't it, really?
There were some brilliant draw bowls in that. You think you can't get round that, and they would.
Well,
both sides, both teams were doing it. It was just superb bowls.
All very good draw players.
Yes. And not scared to have a run either. The top ones, the drives, both skips were quite happy to have a go.
Adam Collins trying to get the port is going to do so.
It's a very handy little rub.
It's a very handy little rub he got there, sits there, the triangle. More than likely still just the one, I'd say. The bowl of Tom Taiaroa is locked in there behind, I'd say, would still be second shot. And so Garry Ford, the number 3 for the Timaru side. Not a bad line's the call.
Bad line, mate.
Good line as it's coming down towards the head and just goes by. Certainly had that reaching weight. In that women's game, really, to be fair there, Dave, they're actually wasting a good hand out there.
The first end was quite tight. I commented that the women's end was much tighter than the men's, but since then, they haven't been.
Yes, if you see, and that ditch hand, if you send the bowl out, you'll be rewarded.
Well, she has sent it out this time, and here it comes. Yeah, as you said, it'll be a reward. It's coming back around.
So that's just a metre, and it's just at the centre, not quite at the centre line. And try and play under the centre. Try and play under the centre line. You're going to get hurt.
Yep.
So Darren Goodin, long-time player, or family. Well, long-time players at Paritutu is going to get around, no it not, just tried to get past the South Canterbury low bowl. I'm picking Andrews, he'll still try and play that same shot, and you'll see that bowl there, well, it had too much weight, but it had the line there in that Pirongia Kensington game, had the line there to work right back to that centre line, but was racing on the way through. Barrie Andrews, now the former insurance man, he's insured everybody in Timaru over the years on the backhand, and
he's not far away.
He's got weight to hold it up, so if he's got weight to hold it up, he's going to get a result, does he?
He might have made it to the opposition.
Unlucky result.
Was an unlucky result? Just had enough weight to tip it out.
Because he had the right weight to get the result on the inside to the jack, didn't he? And he just got the other side of it. I'm picking Goodin will be happy to come on the outside of that and really
Adam Collins had a look to see what it was, but I didn't see what he signalled he skipped because he moved out of the picture.
It looks like a couple from here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Darren Goodin trying to get through this very narrow port, gets
That's
into
a
his
very
own
well-played
bowl,
bowl
tips
as
it
well.
over, turns it over. Well, from our angle, it's quite difficult to see how far lower the jacket is, as we see the shot coming in here in this women's match. Going to sit just lower the jack, and it'll be the shot. It's the Pirongia.
Gaylene Kanawa draws the shot over here. Weaved away in through all the front stuff.
Looking at the Timaru v Paritutu game, the triangle looks like 3, doesn't it, to Paritutu, with that roll of the ball.
Yep.
Trying to save the case here is the Kensington skip, not going to reach the head. Definitely a shot bowling behind there. Andrews.
It's probably their closest one, however, Kevin. Might have cut it down to 2.
Change of hand here from Andrews, reaching down, trying to get through to crunch onto the front bowl, going to get the side. Unlucky. Played that well. Played it very well. Just you don't know where they're going to go when you kick, and he just got the outside of that bowl.
The rub away.
Another half a bowl, quarter of a bowl, he'd have been on line to get all the way through. There's 2. We weren't sure about that third one.
Here comes the Pirongia skip around the Tucker green, around the head, draws another shot.
Isn't that amazing? Just from a coaching point of view, Dave, one of the things that I really noticed here is, you would know from your days that, when you were getting, you always just take your time on the mat, get your body in the right position,
Yep.
This bowl's coming back. This is a good attempt, but might have too much weight to go by, and does. Get your body in the right position, get your feet facing out on an angle. But you see people now, and they just think because they've got the bowl on the ring on the inside that it's going to go.
It's going to go where they want it to go without worrying about positioning themselves, yes.
So Paritutu, it was 3. Have hit the front, 4-3 now.
I think it might have been 3 more to Pirongia over on the rink 1 as well.
Well,
so
if
wait
it
for the
is,
score to go up.
It's a jump, isn't it, if that's the case?
Kensington led 2-0 and the next 9 have gone to Pirongia. If we're correct in thinking it was 3.
Well, and as you rightly said, Dave, what's happened, though, as well, it's about getting bowls coming back to the centre line, isn't it? That's
it is.
Not trying to fish your way down to the head, getting that centre line. So here it is, Shayne Chisnall, just going to come up low, going to get right to the centre line, but is going to be lower the jack. 6-2 Pirongia leading Kensington.
One need to go up on there.
And to go up,
Still need to go up. They're playing 6 of 15.
Oh, there it is. It's up there now. 9. You're right. It is. It's 9-2 Pirongia. 9-2 Pirongia leading Kensington. And a toucher from Pirongia there, was it?
Yep, from Vicki Coll.
And I'm sure the lead here, Shayne Chisnall, he's at the point of the game now. You just start to get that little frustration, and I'm just about there. I can't quite get there. I'm trying to adjust, and young and Nathan Goodin has been able to take sort of advantage of that, and is getting bowls around the head to these last couple of innings. But now on the Pirongia Kensington game,
It's 2 good lead bowls.
two
And here
good
comes the
lead
third.
bowls.
Swinging back off that bank side. They seem to be using it both ways.
Well, we did comment before, didn't we? That's it's a great hand to get you, to get that drawing line going, isn't it?
And already on this end, in the women's game, there's 3 better bowls than there was on the whole head last time.
Well, send it out and it'll come home, but that one won't come
This
home.
one will be
Don't
narrow
mind.
and short.
That bowl there, is that far short?
So you'd hear Barrie Andrews saying to his number 2, Tom Taiaroa,
Don't care if you're
just
in there,
how
mate.
far short that bowl is. And to be fair to you people watching at home, the actual distance from what we see on the cameras
Good
to
line.
what it is outside is
Yeah, that's it,
it's different,
Sheryl.
really, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Come on.
Sheryl Olsen,
Just a little
just
bit more, mate.
nice green, but just another couple of feet of weight needed.
So here is Rodger Hassall now. The Paritutu, number 2, the builder. And of course his son Grant, the chairman of Bowls Taranaki, has been for a number of years. And of course Rodger with his other son Brett and
Line's good, Tom.
Rowan Brassey
That's a good drive,
and
mate. You come under that.
Beau Prideaux. They actually won the National Fours.
Okay.
And when Paritutu was headquarters, beat Andrew Kelly in the final. On the backhand is Tom Taiaroa.
Come on, buddy.
Just question, how's that? Well, this looks a better line.
Just your weight, buddy.
This
Your
looks a
line's
good line from the Timaru number
Right
2.
ball.
Sheryl Olsen plays another well green bowl but pulls up short.
Well, what can happen here for the Kensington side, unfortunately, Dave, is
Sorry.
if you're not getting consistencies off the front, very quickly this game can close out on you.
Stand in front of the
It's already opened up a big gap considering Kensington were 2-0 up. Now they're 7 behind.
So, trying to get down to the jack is the Paritutu number 3, Adam Collins. Just
I think it illustrates, Kevin, we just had both screens showing the heads. There's hardly a bowl up on either. It just shows you that they're not pushing that extra metre on.
Got to push that metre through.
Might just run out of steam.
And you heard that there from Barrie Hendricks, didn't it, right?
Yep.
Exactly what he just said.
Right,
Might just run out of steam. The reason being is because we just
Trying to
guys from
draw exactly.
yeah, the guys from Hastings have been telling me, that your jack really is a metre. Wherever the jack is, it's a metre behind,
metre
so as you'll get that good finish. So Adam Collins now, the Paritutu number 3, changes hand, trying to draw through the port.
Through the gap.
And won't do so. Ran into one of the Paritutu bowls. And just looking from the monitor from our point of view, it looks as though it's the back bowl with the white disc of Tom Taiaroa's, which would be shot. But as was rightly said before from... Well, straight away now again, the Whangarei side, they've got a difficult head to play to there now. Those are two of the Pirongia bowls on top of the jack, aren't they?
We don't want to go near
It was unfortunately a Kensington bowler just pushed it there.
And also, because they've just got the one bowl there, so it is a hard...
Yep.
It's a hard shot to play, hard head to play to.
Just a little bit quick, mate, but that's okay.
And looking from
Bit
out,
of there.
I'm pretty sure it's that back bowl of the Timaru, the South Canterbury West End bowl looks like shot. So here is the skip, Darren Goodin, well-performed player out of Taranaki, been the Taranaki representative. Well, trying to get down to the bowl, might get the inside, might get that generous slide off the inside. He was obviously playing with searching weight, gets the inside, could have got.
Tried to split his way through the front ones, but was a fraction wide.
You see a proud mum sitting in behind there as well. That's the mother of Aidan Zitterstein from the Paritutu Club. Of course, Aidan is now over in
Birmingham with the Cook Islands team again.
Yes, of course, a bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast.
I was talking to Sandra this morning when she came in to watch her teammates from Paritutu.
2 down was the call there for the Paritutu boys. And of course, Zitterstein's played bowls in Wellington for John
did, yes, he
for
played
a number of years, didn't he?
Both Hut and Upper Hut.
So
moving up to Taranaki.
Goodin trying to get around to the shot bowl, trying to get around to it. It's a great attempt.
Just a bit over the top, wasn't it?
He was only just a bowl, well, half a bowl away from getting. It's a 2-shot result at the moment to West End.
Gaylene Kanawa just getting hooked up on the front bowl.
And one would think, looking at it from here at this point, Dave, that it's a couple. Oh, well played from Barrie Andrews. Drew through the port, gets applause to the Paritutu players as well. And there's 3. 6-4 to the West End side. He just drew through that port.
Beautiful bowl, wasn't it?
It did draw weight. Just got to
10 or 11 bowls in the way, but he managed to find the trail that he needed and draw it clean. And on the women's rink, Kensington Skip with her first bowl, playing with weight. Can't tell where it's gone yet.
Well, went by the head on the wider side, and really.
Wide side and knocked another bowl back, but it's.
But the Pirongia side, they're holding it comfortable too, aren't they? So you're not going to go near it, eh? Well,
No.
one and perhaps two, but
One, maybe two.
you're not going to go near it, eh?
Not sure. Gaylene looks like she might be trying to draw another one through the gate here.
Well,
Clapping that, it's going to the back. May have gone into the drain because the kitty's beyond the 2 metre point.
so Shayne Chisnall coming up short with his first for the Barrie Andrews Skip side. So Nathan Goodin, and of course for those, the Goodin family, he's one of the Goodins from
Nathan Goodin's bowl coming by behind the head. On the women's rink, Kensington Skip played a weighted shot and missed, and it's 2 to Pirongia. So they're now up 11-2 after 6, starting the 7th end.
It is now 11-2 to watch.
So yes, the Goodin family, very well-known farming family around the coastal area of Taranaki, around Okado, around that area, and then into central area and the Kauponga area as well. Goodins is a very, very well-known rural name in Taranaki. He's disappointed with that as the youngster, but he might get a bit of luck actually.
Just slightly under the head, but got reasonable weight on it, so not too far away. Yes, there's a lot of
Great weight, mate.
well-known sporting families around that coast, isn't there, Kevin, with the Barretts, the McEldownies.
It certainly is. Well, the Goodin family in days gone by, they were great stalwarts of Taranaki cricket.
Good open up.
Yep.
And the Barretts, well, they've been stalwarts of
Yeah, just
everything.
get your own, mate.
And the McEldownies as well, as both cricket and rugby. But yeah, the Goodins is a very, very well-known family in the, let's say, the coastal area,
Got your land and my land again. but
Okado area of Taranaki, very well-known name.
Come on.
It's a good bowl from Pirongia's lead, Vicki Coll. Just shy, but nicely greened.
And they've owned some very good racehorses as well.
Yes.
6-4 West End from Timaru, and Barrie Andrews, the skip of the South Canterbury side, has been an absolute stalwart supporter of bowls right around the country for many, many years. Long-time representative of the South Canterbury representative side. Great supporter of tournaments all around the country, and always taken young players, and
Weight's
had that
perfect,
great
Sheryl.
run of results playing with Dave Henson.
Sheryl Olsen, Pirongia number 2. If she'd played that with a bit of green, she would have had lovely bowl, because it's about 1.5 metres across the head, but with great weight.
Rodger Hassall going by, and it's Paritutu side holding shot, but nothing really close at this stage. It's the Jack Lowe bowl,
Down here, is it?
which is shot. Here is
Very good line.
Gary Ford. Good line you heard from Barrie
line.
Andrews very quickly, and this needs to
Oh,
get past
bad
the
luck.
blue. Not going to do so, because
Weight was
there's no
good,
doubt.
Sheryl.
Weight was pretty good
Fraction
too.
more grass,
No doubt,
please.
Dave. When they start to stop,
Coming
they
over
stop.
here.
Yep. And the number 2 for Kensington just rested on the shot bowl, and then the shot bowl fell down, so I think she's still one down, but was close to the head.
Took the weight off, Sheryl.
Well, is that score correct? 11-2, is it more than that?
No, it's 11-2, that's correct.
Your weight
Was
good.
2-0 to Kensington.
So, the Paritutu, number 3, he was short under the head. You'll see the black disc bolt way out to the side there. Come on, Barrie, you've been around long enough.
Glad I'm not
Weight was good.
So, the youngster, Adam Collins, been very impressed with this young fella over the last 2 days. But not with this bowl. Oh, well, it's holding up, but I don't know it's not going to hold up.
Going to hold up, no.
No, it's not.
And Kensington have just set up with a back bowl, have just set themselves a possible backhand shot now.
Good home, good line.
Sitting the bowl just in front down, or if it goes the kitty moves, they've got one at the back now, so got a few more options than they had a minute ago. Looks like they're playing the shot we just talked about down on the backhand now to that white disc bowl in the front of the head.
Well, a turn onto the bowl was all advantageous, isn't it, to the
Yep.
to the northland side, on that backhand side.
I know.
It's going to have to drop a bit quickly or it's going to hit that front bowl.
Just touching it on the way through, isn't it?
Had good weight for it too, didn't it? Oh, it might still
Might
be
sort of- yeah, it's got the inside of the.
inside of the shot, what we thought was the shot bowl.
So,
Gaylene Kanawa having a look with the fingers to see what she thinks is the shot.
so Barrie Andrews, the
mate.
Timaru skip, always
Draw in here.
on the
There's
narrower
not much
side.
room to draw, so you can draw in.
Well, it could be. He got onto one of his own bowls. I still think it's the jack high to
Very
the
good
right that
bowl,
would be.
Denise.
It's a very nice bowl just played on the women's rink. Just past the front two that we thought were shots and just nestled in behind.
Well, and just drew round neatly around.
Yep. We hope you've been enjoying the coverage out there over the last 4 weekends.
Well,
Kevin's had a tough job doing it all 4 around the country.
Yeah, it's certainly been a month of travel, and you sort of forget which one is which, but what we will do shortly, Marta McKenzie's going to get for me all the results of the previous, our singles, pairs, triples, and of course now in the fours, and this brings to.
It's been noticeable over the 4 weeks, Kevin, the cross-section of clubs that have been represented with the big ones like Carlton Cornwall and the little ones like Martinborough. And Martinborough have had huge representation in this event.
They certainly have. They've been very active, haven't they? As Barrie Andrews trying to get down to the jack. And I know here, Darren Goodin has just been a bit scratchy the last couple of ends. His intent would be right. We need to get something on the head for the boys. And is he out wide enough? I question it. Oh, it's going quick
close.
though. It's
Speed
going
runs
quick.
fast, doesn't it?
So we'll see what the story is, and it was 1-2 Paritutu. It was that earlier bowl on the head, but certainly not a good head as what compared to the number of the heads that we've seen so far in this match.
Here's the Kensington skip. Patricia Murray on the backhand, but a bit wide for what she's looking for. And
If you-
probably not heavy enough either.
I suppose if you look at the various events which we've covered, Dave, last week, the efforts of Ross Ellery.
The land, though,
Yep.
Denise.
And was absolutely, and his team from
Foxton
and Beach, who of course are going through a traumatic time with their recent fire. And I thought his effort was outstanding.
In that final, he just didn't rattle, did he? Just
he
so
played.
calm.
He played superb. So that was the triples. The pairs. Well, I'm just going to straight out. I'm not going to muck around. That was the Leif Selby show.
Absolutely.
And he certainly was. Him and his defending champions, of course, the one the year before, James Williams and Leif. But his exhibitions in the latter stages of the post-section of the pairs was absolutely top draw.
Just an amazing player when you hear he doesn't play anything very much now. In fact, just that one event's all he's played this year. Won the club pairs, won the centre pairs, and comes out and wins the New Zealand pair.
Back to back.
Absolutely.
So that class is permanent, and certainly the in the singles, to me. Taking nothing away from our male winner, but there's no doubt that Tania Wheeler, for the Wairarapa, who came from behind and might have been the semi-final, I'm not sure, and defeated Linda Ralph in that final, and let's just say it's been a long time between drinks for the Wairarapa, and Tania's been here in 3 events. So she was last weekend, of course, and here again this weekend.
Yes.
So, I'd take the singles. Tania Wheeler.
From memory, Tania picked up a big number towards the end of that game, didn't she? She was 19-16 down and picked up a 4.
Picked up a 4, correct. So, Tania Wheeler, in the singles. Leif Selby going to make contact as Rodger Hassall. That's a good bowl. Doesn't get the shot, but just opens that jack up now. The Leif Selby show in Dunedin was certainly a highlight, and equally to the Leif Selby scenario was Ross Ellery last week from Foxton and Beach at the triples in Nine because he was outstanding, and remember he played that side of Nathan Glasson, Kelvin Scott, Ricky Cook from Canterbury.
Not a bad lineup, is it?
Very, very good side. And Ross Ellery was absolutely unflappable.
Correct.
So, to me, those 3, in each one of the disciplines to date, they stood out, as I'd say, the good events. Hassall looking for the jack here is the Paritutu skip. Jack or bowl, he's going to get the jack clean, turns it round the corner. Well, no one's got the shot now.
It's well out in the open, isn't it?
I'm not sure if that's where he was
aiming to get it,
but he knew he wanted. I suppose you could say he didn't want to be short, so he was well up to the head, wasn't he? And now, a nice delivery from the young Tom Taiaroa, and always good to see that really smooth delivery, and sure it's going to go by the jack, but he had the line, so.
The other thing I like about this new format, Kevin, is that it's coming through Club 4, win your event, centre, rather than opens. We get a different mix of people here, don't we?
Oh, absolutely, and look, really, if you look at clubs, more than likely, possibly the most consistent club, Carlton have been, they've done very well, but let's not disregard what Martinborough have done as well.
Well, Martinborough have not only done it in the women's, they've done it in the men's as well.
Absolutely, they have. They've been. They've been here in multiple events when the bells are ringing on at the back end of the event, haven't they?
From memory, last week they were in both.
They were
both triples. This week they're in both 4s. Tania was certainly in the singles.
So
that's what 5 events they were in out of the 8.
Absolutely.
And as we said last week, the little club that's just been resurrected effectively was almost a social club 2 years ago.
Got to be through, mate.
So, what actually happened? Did some people just get in behind it, or?
Yeah, I think the Murawai's moving over there. Garry sort of played a large part in it, as well as now being chair of Bowls Wairarapa. I think that's made a big difference. There's a number of people also playing over there And as we talked about last week, they play on both sides of the hill, so some of the Wellington players go over and play, and certainly some of the Martinborough-based players come over and play in the Wellington competitions. So there's a fair bit of sharing there, and it's done the Wairarapa a world of good. They weren't too far away a couple of years ago either in the intercentre, were they? I think they got third in one of those intercentre events.
In Wellington?
Yeah.
Only wait to hear, mate.
And for a small centre,
So you're just turning
they used to be about 300 in number. I don't think they've got any bigger. They box above their weight, don't they?
I remember when Auckland played them there in the centre, they had a young fella playing,
Just going to get it.
and I'm not sure he's been here playing or not, and he'd only been playing bowls his first year, I think it was, and he was a golf professional
Okay.
and outstanding player.
Some people just have a natural talent in all games, don't they? Others have to work for it.
Yeah, look, I can't. I remember watching him play. So here's Goodin trying to draw the port. Seemed a hard way of getting to the shot. Did he do so? I'm not sure. It turned the bowl in jack level. Didn't feel comfortable, obviously, drawing around the blue, the port, the blue. Well, it's a good metre out, isn't it? But I wonder whether there's a blue bowl in front. Is that counting? Because that's a. No, that's a. That's a white apple bowl, isn't it?
It's a black disc bowl, isn't it?
No, and there, so this is all going to depend on Andrew's weight. Looked light on weight when we saw the back of it, and so Paritutu staying on that hand. So one would think if that was the case, that they think they've got shot. Barrie Andrews coming up to have a look.
And while we've been discussing the performance of the other clubs, Pirongia has scored another one to go ahead 12-2 after 7 ends.
So there's the bowl of the skip for the Paritutu side. Darren Goodin going by.
We're 3 down there, aren't we?
3 down. Just hear that.
What if I drive into there?
So where would the 3 be?
Yours will follow through.
I'm not sure.
What do you reckon?
Barrie Andrews just said,
Into that? Hey?
I'm 3 down. Well,
It could be that purple one at 11 o'clock. The blue one at 1 o'clock. Where's the other one?
well, because that's a white disc in front, isn't it?
Yep.
And that's a white disc out to the side.
Yep.
Jack Level's a black disc, and back here's a black disc. And
Well, I'd be picking more like he's 3 up.
I,
Those white discs look closer in at least 2 occasions, don't they?
he might be the one down to the from our angle for the Jack Level, but he clearly said
3 down.
3 down. And said he's going to play. No, he's not. Changed his mind. He might look.
Too wide, mate.
2 wide, mate, he says. So we'll soon find out where the 3 shots
Well,
were.
this is interesting because it certainly doesn't look like that from where we're sitting here, does it?
Nope.
I'll give the Jack Level one. I'll give that in early.
And it must be one of the back ones sitting behind the head, but it looks quite
Well,
away.
Paritutu have got the map.
I think that's the one we said.
That's the one we
it was.
said. I couldn't see 3.
Well, we can't. We have a job seeing it off the monitor, but they've only conceded 1, and now the tape's coming out.
And to be that bowl to the side, that
What's going on here?
I don't know, because they're talking about the bowl, the leaning bowl, are they? So they're pointing at that.
As we
So
said earlier,
is this
get the
Jack
tape
Level
out and
over
get
here?
on with it.
There's another one over to the side, and that's the one that they're going to.
Yeah. As we said earlier, get on with it. Get the tape out. They must have wasted about a minute just looking around, and now they've got the tape out anyhow.
So that's a Timaru bowl that they went to.
And that makes sense because they've already taken out a Paritutu,
Yeah,
bowl, haven't they?
So there's confusion there as well, isn't there?
There is. 3 it is. As predicted, 3 to Paritutu.
Well, that was a strange.
Really strange. Barrie Andrew must have a good eye because he picked 3 in the 2
Well, they
threes.
weren't sure
Took quite a while
themselves,
to
were
take
they?
it out. No, they weren't. The one you mentioned being the actual shot was definitely the clear shot when it was taken out. But after that, it was confusion reigns.
It's interesting. Paritutu are definitely trying to find a length there. In the young lead, Nathan Goodin, sort of whipping himself a wee bit because he obviously didn't get the length that we'll see where it's sitting, but and it's Pirongia that scored again.
Looks like a 3 from the signal as well. So if it is, that's 15-2 just after halfway. 8 ends played.
Halfway, buddy.
So Goodin trying to get down to the jack, and it's sort of a bit of an in-between length, really, isn't it? It's up over the minimum and
well short of the maximum.
And well short of the maximum. So it's one of those ones where it is a bit of both. Got this out on a good wide arc has Shayne Chisnall and will duly be rewarded, although it's going to be short or just a bit, not much though. And might just give him that wee bit of encouragement because he has been struggling, and you saw there, you got that bowl very much out on that nice arc, and it certainly came home. And Nathan Goodin's on a good line as well. Is it going to hold up? Trying to sit to the bowl, just going to get one turn on it, turned it in behind the jack.
Got a bit of a strange result with the way that bowl went around the corner, didn't he?
Well, it just sort of did a circle.
Looped around, yeah.
And we will get updates on those other matches in but a moment as well. We'll get somebody out there to run out and get us an updates on the other.
Yep.
I'm sure Martin McKenzie will be able to help us with the updates on those other semi-finals. 8-6 Paritutu leading now as we play in 9 of 16. And there's Pirongia, who you can't see. Thank you, Gaylene, leading 14-2.
Also after 8 of 15.
Now, it's nowhere near over at this. Oh, well played there from...
No, I was sitting watching Martinborough this morning, and they were 7 or 8 up, and I said, well, that's nearly over. And as we mentioned earlier, we went into the last head with Martinborough behind, and they scored a 2. And probably this weekend, it's the first team I've seen lose a big number like a 5 and still held on to win.
So, here is Tom Taiaroa. He's an impressive young player, just going by. Paritutu sitting locked on the jack.
Sheryl Olsen watching intently. I don't think she liked that one. We don't know where it went. Here it comes. That's why she didn't like it. It's short by quite some distance. Somebody just mentioned to Karen about, to Gaylene about the camera, I think, because she stepped back quickly.
Rodger Hassall, the Taranaki, Paritutu, number 2. Oh, goodness, he seemed to...
Still holding the pose.
Well, he got it out on the wider safety line, I suppose you'd call it, would you?
Didn't end up in a bad spot, did it?
Good bowl here coming in.
Good bowl from Kensington, number 2.
Down here, Sheryl.
But they're just not, the problem is, though, to be fair, Dave, they're just not building heads, are they?
No, they're not. It's well spread head, and Pirongia have got 2 at the back, which are more useful to be used.
So here comes the number 2. Just turned the bowl over. Bad luck. Played with weight to reach and turned the bowl over.
And Sheryl Olsen just played 2 poor bowls, one on the forehand, one on the backhand, both a couple of metres short by the look of it.
And of course the Paritutu side here, holding shot locked in behind the jack. Certainly don't want to give a shoulder on that open side of the head. And coming on the
Couple lights, Denise.
another bowl.
Through there, mate.
Well, I don't want to sound a party pooper, Dave, but I'm saying a couple light on that particular head there. I think there's a bit of room to draw the shot.
I was thinking the same thing, Kevin. I thought, yeah, they are 2 down, but there's plenty of room. 2 to Kensington at the moment. Probably still 2 to Kensington.
Did you get round? I think you'll get
But
round
since
that.
the first
You
end,
just
it's
need
certainly
that side of
turned
that.
around where the tight
So
heads
you
are.
can't
It's not on the
wait
women's
about
screen
here.
It's
anymore.
interesting,
Square
Barry
back
Andrews
out
is
here.
saying, it just shows on this carpet where the heads lie.
clear that one at the front
is they've got a tight head, but trying to get
They're
around
lie.
a bowl
Yep.
to get to a result.
Four, but
Look at this. Here we go.
That's
In
all
the
right.
match between Palmerston North and Takapuna, that's in the women's. It is, goodness. So it is 4 apiece after 7 ends.
It's a tight game.
4
8
apiece
shots and
after 7.
ends.
Listen to this though. Matambara, the Garry Murawai side, up against the very strong Taiaroa South side, and it is Matamara leading 10-1 after 8 ends. 10-1 after 8 ends. It's a good start for.
When we were doing them last night, we got a progress score, and I couldn't believe it. The first progress score that came in was Martinborough 16 and the opposition 1.
So they're obviously going pretty good, aren't
They
they?
seem to have some good runs, all right.
So Paritutu holding the shot here as we see Gary Ford trying
In the
to.
area.
It's a very
Easy
hard.
enough.
It's a tight head to
Yeah.
get to, isn't it?
Go try.
That's all right, says.
Well, you're one bowl away, and you know
Yep.
it sounds awful, I know, but you're one bowl away and you're nowhere. That's really because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bowls sitting there,
Yep.
pretty that gap
just
would be nice.
in around the jack area, and for both sides, if you've got the shot, you say thank you, and it's certainly hard to get a number, isn't it?
Yep. And Kensington might be holding 3 or 4 here. Gaylene just had a look at 3 of them. Didn't see what she signalled though before she walked off down to play her bowls.
So Darren Goodin, the race course supervisor man, long-time member of Paritutu, holder of numerous Taranaki titles, and of course it's a Taranaki singles player for many, many, many years, just nestles in amongst that. Well, it's just a cluster of
Any change?
bowls there, isn't it, Dave, around the
Yeah,
head?
real tight head.
Any change?
Gaylene looks to be a fraction
Any
narrow
change?
here, but
Very, very much so.
Oh, better up.
speed's not bad, but well under the well under the green line.
Yeah.
Well, looking now at that head, but the Paritutu West End one with Paritutu leading 8-6. You can't see very much at all. So Andrews. Is this with weight?
Kensington with a chance to have a good score over here, and the Skips played the shortest bowl on the head.
It is with weight to try and get some disturbance in the head, but show me where the jack is.
Yeah,
It's in. You can, the blue bowl, which is in behind, it's sitting in the front of that, and right in front of that.
doesn't look like there's room there, does it? With you
No,
see
it
on the
doesn't.
screen?
There's a toucher inside the blue bowl. There's a toucher sitting there. Well played there. The Gaylene Harvey made amends there. Draws a front toucher.
Probably 3 or 4 down before she played it, and turns the head right round. She possibly got 2 now with the back bowl counting as well.
Just got a touch on the jack, didn't she?
Yep, just moved it enough.
So Darren Goodin's really saying, I'm not going anywhere near this, because whether he's got 1 or 2, because another bowl did get rolled into the head, I'm not going to try and judge. You're not going to try and judge, eh?
Aye.
Because we can't even see the jack. It's obvious in that cluster of 4, isn't it?
Somewhere in there
that,
it is.
And that makes that 3.
What's the story?
I hope my leg all the way through with
Now
the
Gail Kanawa's
Oh,
last bowl.
I just heard then
We're not-
Barry,
we're
this
not-
number 3 saying that Barry Andrews drawing. Well, everything's drawable. Everyone will tell you that, but it's
Some with more degree of difficulty than others.
yeah. Well, that's got difficulty stamped all over it, hasn't it?
And that last bowl of Gail Kanawa's has certainly made Kensington stop and think. They're still trying to work out what they're going to do.
So just as I said, it is in the men's. It is the other semi-final. It is the Wairarapa side leading the Taiaroa side, and North Harbour in their match versus, I'll just get that bit of paper again, thank you ladies, doing a wonderful job. Palmerston North versus Takapuna, locked up 4 apiece after 7, and my thanks to Tamara and the team here as we come to the end of this event. They've done a wonderful job over the last month.
Kensington just got a wick on the outside and pushed the bowl across. It's been one either way, but it just depends who it is.
Looks like the
Still one to
Pirongia
Pirongia
side, and it is Paritutu who scored in that all those bowls covering around the jack. It was the Paritutu side. As we go to end 9 of 15, I'm picking it was just the one. We'll just check on that board in a moment.
We go to 10 of 15 in the women's game, and it'll be 15-2 to Pirongia. So 15 straight shots after Kensington started with 2 ones.
Amazing, isn't it? So, on the mat is the Nathan Goodin. And there it is. Well, that changed it because it's 11-6 now.
Yeah. So what was that?
3.
Yeah, I was going to say it was 8-6 before, wasn't it?
So in the context of this game, that's a nice little...
That's a big break.
It is, isn't it?
Good end when you're a couple ahead already and get a little 3, or a reasonably large 3 in that instance.
And the ends are clocking down, and your lead then just draws a toucher for you, and it just...
It's all starting to move in the West Paritutu's favour, isn't it?
It certainly is. And I hope you people are members, all those wonderful members of the Paritutu Club, Alan Batley, Mike Walsh, all you good people watching this coverage. I know you were earlier on, so trust you enjoy bringing you this coverage of your Paritutu side, who are in front in the semi-final of this, the final event of the Somerset National Champion fours. Because we started with the
You got scared, mate.
singles, which was played here. And we were then in Dunedin for the pairs last week. We're in Nono for the triples. And now back in this great 26-year-old complex here in Hastings for the fours. And the next major event that we'll be bringing you will be the Big Bowls weekend in Dunedin, where we've got the Bowls New Zealand Awards dinner. Someone about to be brought forward into the Bowls New Zealand Hall of Fame, the Bowls New Zealand annual meeting, and the North-South match, which will be played at the indoor complex in Dunedin. And by goodness, that complex in Dunedin, they've done marvellously well, and all the debt's been paid back. They've had it all repainted, got the new blue surface, and when we consider how long the struggles they had down there in Dunedin with the stadium, but they've had a great band of workers down there from around the clubs of Dunedin. They've got 500 members now who use the facility at various times, and full credit to all those guys down and girls down, ladies in Dunedin. It's a great complex, it's a great amenity, and now for it to have literally money in the bank and freehold and everything, it's a great story.
It's only a few years ago they were really struggling, wasn't it, Kevin?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely it was. It was, and they were struggling to get volunteers as well to lend a hand. And everything was a challenge, to be fair. But they've surmounted and passed all those challenges. Rodger Hassall, very, very narrow, going by, just runs into one of the bowls of the Timaru side. And of course, the issue for Timaru is you can't see the jack, can't see that line. You can see the line to the jack, but so Tom Taiaroa, the young number 2 for the West End Club of Timaru.
And the women's rink, and And Herbert played 2 good bowls at the start, caught the kitty on one and pushed it to the waiting Vicki Coll. So she got a toucher, and Vicki Coll sitting beside it, but Anne Herbert put it there with the first bowl, unfortunately. She's dead unlucky. And she's got another one at the back, so her bowls are useful this end. But Pirongia still hold.
The challenge that Barrie Andrews is getting into now is that they haven't been able to build heads. And, you know, Paritutu, really, once you own that jack low front of the jack position, it really does become a challenge, doesn't it, for you then to try and build or recover a head around it.
Good line.
And Paritutu are getting more bowls in the general vicinity than...
On your weight now.
So Barrie Andrews saying a good line here from Garry Ford, all depend on your weight. Well, this is a marvellous attempt from the Timaru player, great attempt. Second shot just falls over right onto the centre line, gives them a bowl on the head, picking, we'll see a change of hand here from the Paritutu side, you can draw past the head. 15-2. 15-2. It is Pirongia leading Kensington as we play in 10 of 15. This looks tight on the line from the number 3, from the youngster from Adam Collins, and is.
Make sure you're playing to me.
Yeah, so now it does enable Barrie Andrews, number 3, doesn't it, Garry Ford, to play through the backhand and get a yard and a bit through, get a split on the front bowls. It's got to beat what he's trying to do, holding up. It's going to hold up enough. It's on a good line. Is it going to hold up long enough? Gets more than likely could have done with another yard of weight, really, couldn't he?
Probably wouldn't have got through to Barry's feet as he called.
No, really did need another yard of weight, Dave, didn't it? Just to reach through.
Pirongia is still getting more bowls and heads over here than Kensington at the moment, and hold one.
Well, things don't change in the sport, do they? The more you get around the jack, the more the chances are of scoring, aren't they?
Yep. Skipping the 3, discuss it as they pass. Both sides did the same thing, met in the middle of the rink, and now they're heading off to their respective ends. I'm actually quite happy with the speed they're getting through this, Kevin. There hasn't been too much mucking around with they're not on time limit.
Oh, it's very good. They're jumping through the ends, aren't they? Pretty good. Here's Goodin now on his forehand. Played a lot of bowls on his forehand, Darren Goodin. He hasn't really explored the backhand.
Not with that, Denise, but that's going to be behind.
It's weather. I suppose it's weather. Barrie Andrews can see down. That's the port, I think. They're looking on that backhand port through there, trying to get to the shot bowls.
That Darren Goodin bowl might have just closed up the gap a little bit.
Well, he'd have to go. I think he'd have to go. He's not going as quick as what I thought he would be. Andrews trying to get down that line to the jack, and well, this is a great attempt. Might get a generous slide here and sits.
Didn't get any slide, did he?
Well, he has to attack it full board next. He really has to attack for the bowl, doesn't he? It's a 3-shot chance through the port.
Yep.
And it's imperative for Darren Goodin, one would think, coming to having a look at it as Barrie Andrews. Look, it's really imperative for Darren, for the Paritutu side to get another bowl on the head here and turning one of their own bowls into the head. No, that was a... It was a Paritutu bowl. He's got to play down there right through with weight, doesn't he, really?
Patricia Murray looking perplexed here. She's got a lot of front bowls to get through, trying to draw a shot.
So, Barrie Andrews, the Timaru script for the West End Club. Got a great chance here to play down through the head. Great chance to score, trailing 11-6 as we play in 10 of 15.
Patricia Murray playing here with weight, and they're all interested in it. Here it comes. Has she got this, or is she going to get a unlucky rub again?
So here is
one more to Pirongia.
Andrews on the backhand, playing down with that weight. Has he given it enough? Has he? No, he hasn't. He's under that line.
Pirongia scores one.
And It is another 1 to Paritutu. I just think there in that particular head there for Barrie Andrews, Dave, that he had to play with more weight because you've got to be disturbed. Okay, you might remove one of your possible counters, but you know very well if you don't play with that weight, you're going to disappear over the last 3 to 4
I was quite
feet.
surprised he didn't do it with his first one, Kevin, because then whatever happened, he had a bowl to recover.
Absolutely.
With the second one.
I just thought that was... He hasn't had many... Although he was down on the head, he hasn't had many heads one can say that he could attack at. And there was one, 11-6.
Vicki Coll leads off again for Pirongia.
You see straight away there, though, Dave, the value of taking green off that bank there.
Absolutely. She's gone up and down that side.
And you get rewarded, don't you? There's no doubt about that. And now it's the lead. Nathan Goodin. It's just been struggling to get that last yard to the jack.
And
Finishing
Herbert,
on the centre line, but...
and Herbert's drawing down the other side. She hasn't played a bad bowl, but she's just pulling up that couple of feet short again.
Interesting. See now Shayne Chisnall, the lead for Barrie Andrew, trying to follow that line now. He's been, you can go through games sometimes where you're just trying to struggle to find which way to go. Well, Shayne's had some of those challenges, but he drew just that might give him the confidence he needs there. Draws jack level.
Vicki Coll's changed hands because of the Ann Herbert bowl sitting in the front line. She probably had room to draw around it because it comes in.
Oh, you're right. I'm just going to make the point there, Dave, on that swinging hand.
Yep.
I don't think that was in the road at all.
No, nor do I. She played a beauty with the first one. Didn't go through that red bowl.
So equal to the request is Nathan Goodin, draws inside what was the shot bowl, and draws and sits right on the centre line. That'll be the shot bowl, and Shayne Chisnall now endeavouring to follow that bowl of Nathan Goodin's on a good line. Has it got enough? Just question. No, it's disappearing off that jack level line. But
Sheryl Olsen knew this wasn't much good when she let it go. She kicked her leg out and made some noise with mouth, something that I couldn't read. And she was right. It was a cross and well short.
So you'll notice that I said before, I know that there's some people watching. How's that? I know that. I just got told that. Alan Batley, my friend from Taranaki, Paritutu man, Taranaki selector, who will be watching. I know he is.
Still got to take a bit
And
of
we were
green
talking
too,
about the
Sheryl.
player from the Wairarapa, who the golfer, his name is Gavin Hamlin, the Wairarapa player who played in centre. Last year the year before, played in centre in his first year and played in the champion appears this year.
Should have known that because Gavin's father, Garrick, used to play at Upper Hutt with a number of us before he shifted to Mount Maunganui, and I also spent time playing with him in the same cricket club.
Oh, there you go. That's yeah, and go Pirongia. Well, yeah, they're going very good at the moment for sure. So thank you for that information, Alan. So Alan Batley, who just gave me that information, is Taranaki selector and a great stalwart of the Paritutu club. Watching his club team in action. And used to live up and around the Pirongia, Taiaroa, Tikawiti area.
Just
Border
around
at New
Sheryl,
Plymouth
mate.
Boys High in those
If you hit it, you get it out of your way.
a few years ago.
Well, that's one
Yes.
way of doing it.
He got the jack on, just got the slide. Nothing wrong with that. It was there in the area. 12-6 Paritutu leading west end of Timaru, and Pirongia in the ladies. Pirongia leading Kensington.
And again, it's all Pirongia bowls around the head.
So here's the number 3 now for Paritutu. Adam Collins trying to play down to the shot bowl, playing with weight, and a lot of weights, squid, a lot of bowls around the head. perhaps didn't need that
Drawing it
weight
here.
really to get that
Drawing to
contact
beat
on
that
the
one.
shot bowlers because the Paritutu bowl just in behind the head there.
Yep, would have gone well past that if he'd hit it.
It would have with that weight just then, wouldn't it? So, here's the number 3. Garry forward. It's going to come up low of the jack though. It's low the centre. Well, it's on the centre line, but
All right, Denise. You're going to have to come under there now.
Kensington just a bowl
The shot bowl.
reasonably close, but probably still 3 or 4 down.
change of hand here from Darren Goodin to his number 3 to Adam Collins. Try and turn on the back end, trying to turn the bowl over. Bowl in the front there.
Unlucky.
You'll see the charcoaly colour bowl. He's heading towards it now, just going to be outside it, but will sit the inside of this bowl. And by goodness, just fell back out.
Looks like it scored because there's a slap on the hands when he got here.
Barry Andrews very pensive
You follow him down.
as we
Just
play
coming around there
in
to sit that
11
bowl.
of 15
Got one
of
shot.
the semi-final of the Somerset Champion Fours, which will be our final champion event on the Bowls New Zealand calendar. And you would have heard Barry Andrews saying, follow the bowl down. A good attempt here from the Timaru, number 3. It's going to get a touch on the front. One would think the amount of time that Barry Andrews is looking at that is that did result in shot.
Yes.
So we're at no time limit now, aren't we?
Correct, no time limit now. As I said a little bit earlier, the 2 games, nobody seems to be mucking around. They're not chasing bowls, they're still getting on with it, so it's good.
So Darren Goodin having a look at he's having a look at going back to have a look at the head.
Looking forward to a slightly earlier finish today than the last 2 days where it's been 11:20 and 9:20 at night.
Yes, and all you guys have been doing the late shift, done a wonderful job. I appreciate that help. Well, for Tamara and the team, it's Tamara. It's a very nice Subway salad. Subway there, Tamara does a wonderful job. The girls here getting everything all set up every morning and getting the cameras all in place. So Darren Goodin just going by. We're not sure exactly. Not sure what's really just covering down there. We tend to think, well, I don't know. I can see the jack there now. If you look
In the middle there.
in the middle there, but to try and judge the distance in between those 2 bowls, I'm not going to do that. We'll get an idea from how Barry Andrews really plays this bowl. Should indicate if he plays with weight reaching down through that port, one would think that he's 1 down. Out of the hand, it looked wide going by. Needs to come back now. It is coming back, but will it come all the way back? No, it won't. Just sits on bowl, turns the bowl over, turns one of the white bowls over, which is a West End bowl.
And over on the women's rink, Kensington were holding the shot till Gale. Kanawa moved it back, but here's the
Good bowl
Kensington
coming
skip
here
playing a beauty.
to the jack.
She'll hold one with a toucher. Didn't go very far away, so 1 bowl each to come, I think. Oh no, they're taking it out. That was the second bowl.
So
So
there's
Kensington are off 2.
Darren Goodin comes up below the jack. Well, there you can see there.
See the jack now.
Yeah, well,
The yellow jack tucked in there between the green.
from our look here, it looks like the white. Would you agree?
Yep.
But we're not. I'm not saying that's just going to say
It looks like it. That's all we're saying.
It does look like it. And I see the West End side making their way back towards the mat.
Garry. Garry.
Lead yelling out. Basically asking where you want this match.
So it was the one
to West End.
to West End of South Canterbury, and we're at 12-6 now, 12-6.
Should be okay.
And in the women's game, Pirongia still have a big lead, 16-3. We were playing 12 then to 15.
To the mark. You're good, mate.
So we'll check that board in but a moment. I see them doing the chalkboard on it.
Not good.
Turn the flippers over so we can all see.
Different length, that jack, longer jack length.
Yep, and I think Kensington have shortened up the women's game because they just Pirongia just checked it by measuring it out by feet at either end.
Yeah, I will see if we can get a look at that men's scoreboard down there, because maybe I'll be 12. Oh, there it is, 12-7 now. You're right, 12-7. The girls have done that, so 12-7 it is now. Paritutu leading as we play in 12 or 15. So in the men's game,
Really
it's
good
getting
line,
to
Vicki.
the
You only need a man
real
off that,
crunch
mate,
point,
to
isn't
count.
it? Where
Yep.
in the women's game, one would think it would be, well, a real turnaround, would it not be, if Pirongia were to get up from here?
Kensington. Pirongia's well up now.
Sorry, Kensington. As we see,
Kensington would need a really big end in the next 1 or 2 to get back into this game. And I doubt if
it need to be a chunky number.
would be. Need to be 5 or 6 at least.
So on the backhand is the lead, Pirongia, Paritutu, West End match, and the Paritutu leads bowl went way back now. 2 good bowls, opening bowls here from Shayne Chisnall.
And Herbert's played a couple of good ones over here now, but there's just been a response from Vicki Coll. Jack level, probably slightly wide of the kitty, but
So, Paritutu lead and daring to make amends from his first bowl. It's young Nathan Goodin, and he does so and draws right alongside the jack. Well played by the Paritutu lead. And here's Tom Taiaroa on his backhand. Paritutu definitely holding the shot.
Sue Rokstad just put in another good bowl for Kensington, just ran slightly through, but it's in a useful position at the back.
Well, that's an interesting shot from the number 2. Really looked as though Davey was trying to steer it down towards that jack shot, which is a good shot. We know that's a good shot to play, but
Dave. I think he wants it.
so Hassall, Rodger Hassall now, long time Paritutu member and stalwart on the forehand. Question that line though, halfway down. We'll go down to need to be a different line than that. Needs another yard out towards the centre line. 16-3 Pirongia leading Kensington at end 12 of 15 in one women's semi-final.
And we need someone to do run it for us again, don't we?
We'll get that done in a moment. We'll get that. I think one of the girls has just gone out, and we'll get that update.
And Pirongia have just played down the backhand, caught a slightly wide bowl and sat one of their own into the head. May well be shot again.
So Rodger Hassall now on the mat for the Paritutu side, knowing that they need to get another bowl on their head.
Skye Renes on the mat, playing on the backhand for Kensington.
Well,
There's an opportunity for more than one here if they can play it properly. There's a little group of 3 out to the left side as we look at the screen.
Rodger Hassall rested on the shot bowl, moved it around fractionally, got a toucher on it. Leaves the hole open for the Andrews side. Draw down on the backhand. Draw down to the bowl, sit on the bowl, or move into the jack on the backhand is Garry forward.
Skye Renes just played a great bowl, just missed the jack and finished a few inches behind. There's still the little group of 4 or 5 building up there if they can make that pay with a conversion shot so we can get back into the game to a certain extent.
Side slice there from the...
However, this one might stop it.
Lucky here, Denise.
Great bowl. Great bowl by Denise to Momo.
Just
Playing
got...
a metre through. Just playing to me.
Just got tangled up on that front bolt. Was on a neat, just a neat line down to the jack. Now, Barrie Andrews, number 3. Well, I can see more of Barrie Andrews than I can of number 3. But trying to get to the jack, needs a bit of luck, needs a slide on the way through. Doesn't do so.
Got one at the back and stopped though, so now we can see the head. Barry's moved. Skye playing her bowl down the backhand side by the look of it. Not happy with it. It's on the forehand side and it's under the head and it's running away, and that's why she wasn't happy with it.
So here now is Paritutu coming down, trying to get him behind the head. That sit position where they've got those two bowls sitting in behind the head. That's a good home there. 12-7 as we play in 12 or 15. No time limit, of course. And
Paritutu's holding a couple of shots over there, so Barrie Andrews has to do something about that because that lead is starting to grow as well.
yeah, just starting to get this in here. That creates a bit of pain, really, Dave. If you don't,
A couple more on there, puts them 7 ahead with only 3 to play.
if you don't score,
They've got to average over 2 then, don't they?
yeah, and you know it hasn't happened to date in this game, has it? So here is Andrews from Timaru, long time stalwart of the Timaru South Canterbury Centre, playing down to Jackal Bowl.
It's in the general
He's
territory.
on line to
Kevin.
get to the shot bowl and will get it out clean and move the jack.
May
And
have
more
got the
than
shot
likely
there.
made shot of it, turned it over. Well played, very well controlled weight.
Kensington skip Patricia Murray. Oops, went down to play and then stepped back up. Something must have distracted her at the far end.
There was a lesson in that shot that Barrie Andrews just played, David. You can play with controlled weight. You still got to take green and let the ball work towards the target area, which is what he duly did. And that means that your bowl's not going to run away from that target. Here is now
Here we come with the Kensington skip. She's going to find that gap. How unlucky was that? She only did a touch on that. She could have converted that to a 3.
so
Instead of which she
Darren,
takes away one of the bowls that would help to get that shot.
Darren Goodin trying to get down to the jack, trying to sit in here for shot. Well played from the Paritutu skip.
Why would I draw that hand?
Dead draw just to beat the jack level.
But she's going to have another go. Where's that going to go?
Gaylene Kanawa are asking a 3. Why would I play that hand? Because she's going to have another go. But where will it go?
Can I just make a comment that if you're the skip, just play the shot you want to.
Absolutely. The skips are in charge, aren't they?
You know,
They've got the bowl in their hands. They're in
if
charge
you're not
of the
happy
team.
with what's been said, just play the shot that you feel most content with for the.
Yep.
So this now becomes a big bowl here.
We can't see a thing of this one because we've got the number
No.
3 standing right in the head. So I don't know where it is. Here it comes. I can see it now. Now I've lost it again.
Barrie Andrews.
The red bowl's moved, but I don't know what it's done.
Well,
There was a bugger there, but I
yeah,
don't know who
I
it
don't want to
came
hear
from.
about it.
Oh, there we have it. We got one shot.
Barrie Andrews now on the mat. You know, they just need to understand that we're
Trying
trying to cover. So here's Andrews looking for the jack. Looking for the jack. Looking for the jack. Well played from the Timaru player. Well played. Got a 2-bowl split to the jack.
looks like he scored 1. I think the other one got pushed out a bit far.
I think the other one got pushed out to the right, but really, really good control. Wait now. Darren Goodin, touch of the jack.
Yep. Or reach the what we think is the shot bowl at the back and sit it. He could make 2 of it.
So well played on Barrie Andrews. Darren Goodin makes his way back to the mat.
I was trying to get into that gap.
I think Kensington might be holding just 1 here. I can't see the jack from this angle, but there it is. And I think Kensington will definitely have that shot looking at it. If they can get a little sideways movement on on the Pirongia bowl. They could turn it into 3 or 4.
So here is Darren Goodin now, the Paritutu skip. Down on the head, trying to play down to get towards the jack or shot bowl. Needs to just move now, get the outside of the bowl, all but. He was only a feather away.
One it is.
12-8. 12-8, and it's another in gone.
3 to go.
Very well played from the Timaru South Canterbury skip there, down on the head.
It's a big bowl in the women's game because of the skip from Kensington. Patricia Murray can move this. There's a chance of 3 or 4, and she's...
We won't be able to see it.
No. And took her own back bowl out. I think she's retained one.
So on the mat, there's the Shayne Chisnall, the lead for
Still coming down
the
here, mate,
Timaru side.
because if I can tip
And
that
it's
jack or
got the bowl out on a good arc.
tip my bowl, exactly.
And going to have good weight to jack level. So now it's important to the Paritutu side. 12-7 as we play in 12 or 15 on the forehand. They need to start. They've been holding the shots. Barrie Andrews, the resilient Andrews. That's
Gaylene Kanawa deciding what to do. I'm sure she can afford to drop one without too much hassle.
it's taken quite some time to decide what she's going to do.
It's only 3 ends to go after this, and at worst she'll be 12 ahead.
Well, one down, is it?
She's 1 down, yeah. Well, it looks like it, doesn't it? The red bowls there.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so
I think you'd be.
I think that goes to 16-4 and 3 to go.
So, they come from the
Good ball.
West End, coming back towards the centre line again. Shayne Chisnall spent a lot of the game struggling, changed his hand. All of a sudden, the last 3 ends, he certainly found that centre line, found his target area, and has been giving a good start to the South Canterbury side. And we see now Nathan Goodin's got that bowl out on that wider arc, but it's got a weight on it. It's going to get a fortuitous slide. Well, it will. Sits into the head, puts the Timaru bolt, sitting Shayne Chisnall bolt right on that centre line. And now Taiaroa, he really wants to build upon that as well.
Interesting over here, Kevin, the Kensington lead went to put the mat down and got instructed by a skip to bring it up a few more metres. So we'll see if there's any effect.
So here for...
And Herbert plays a good lead-off bowl here. She's come on to her game now.
Yes, so you're playing here, Vicki.
Rodger Hassall, long time Paritutu member.
Yeah, it should be 16-6.
Of course, has been a winner of the Taranaki Open Fours. Just quick, how long is it going to hold up to the jack? How will it hold all the way? No, it won't. It finishes just lower the jack in and around it.
As does Vicki Coll's first bowl, finishes about a foot short.
And we will get an update in but a moment. Another update from those 2 other matches which are out, they've been played out here. The 2 other semi-finals which they're getting down the board as well. The numbers are starting to get down. They'll be down around that 13 end, so we will get an update in but a moment on those 2 matches as well. So you might have heard there from the skip from Darren Goodin to Rodger Hassall. Play down there on the back end. You can reach the bowl, get to the jack.
Your line, Vicki.
Heard Gaylene saying, I like your line, Vicki. She's down that wide side again,
Get here.
the bank side. Lovely line again, but just a fraction short.
So here's Hassall. He's certainly got out wider than where he's been playing previously and will go past on that width.
Kensington are holding 2 in the women's game after the leads.
I would think this could well be the last end in the women's game.
Could be.
So, Garry forward. the 3 for Barrie Andrew.
But
Well,
weight's not bad.
Possibly this
This
is
is-
Kensington's best building in so far with 3 shots.
Good ball.
a touch on the jack. Move the jack slightly. I think it'll still just be the 1.
Down to your weight, Sheryl.
And now they're very consistent. Adam Collins. They just heard Darren Goodin saying to the his young number 3, draw up to it. Very smooth delivery. Oh, he's not far away, is he? Might get a bit of a lucky slide here. Got it. Got the bowl fat. Another bowl in behind the head. And here for the Paritutu side, really, Dave, they got a really good, although they're down, they've really got a great head to play to
Paritutu 4 up.
just going to have the weight to come back, trying hard to get back, won't just, and here, really, this becomes a big bowl here now for the Paritutu number 3, the very impressive young Adam Collins. He's been outstanding, this young fella. Smooth delivery. Here, no fuss about him at all. Going to be wide though. Needs to come back. Certainly had plenty of weight.
Well, I should really be covering there. He's going to be looking for the ball that's heading.
No time limit, of course, in these semi-finals.
Kensington on the women's rink are looking to hold 3, but since those first 3 have come up, there's been a wall built in front by both teams. Hard to draw around it now.
So we'll see if we can get somebody to get us those updates from the other 2 semi-finals, which are it was the Garry Murawai game and the women's match as well. As Barrie Andrews making his way back, 16-3 it is, Pirongia v Kensington in one women's semi-final. Barrie Andrews makes its way back to the mat, he's holding 1. And note that Darren Goodin stayed down there. Here is.
Yes, unfortunately our score runners have disappeared. Pauline and Steve off to Taranaki to the Greenkeepers conference, so they get it away. Busy time.
So here is Andrew now holding the shot,
2 down, mate, but good ball.
reaching up, trying to get a bit resourceful here. Gets a slide, doesn't do anything. And Darren Goodin, he'll just be trying to play to the white disc bowl. Gets a movement on the jack. Could make 3 shots of it. This bowl following through. Yeah. Andrews making his way back up here to have a look at the head. So here is Goodin now.
Skye Reeve unfortunately plays a nice line, but very short.
So here's Goodin reaching down, trying to reach down. This is close. This is close. Jack bowl clean. Jack out to the side.
Where is it there, Kevin? I can't see it now.
There
it
he
is.
is. See it sitting out the other side of the number. It's a difficult. Well, there's ample room to draw, but as you well know, David, these aren't easy shots.
Nope. Drawing to an off-centre kitty is always harder than drawing to a centre kitty.
So there you'll see it. It's about a metre across from the number.
Very good, mate.
I can't see over the top of the head. I think it is the Paritutu side holding shot. Barrie Andrews, the Timaru skip,
Oh, this
former
might take a while.
opening batsman for South Canterbury. And on the mat, on the backhand, with the white disc on its way as we come to the back end of end 13. Could be 2 down. This line looks tight, and this is exactly what we were talking about.
Correct.
Dave,
Yep.
that you can just get caught. You know, he chucks his head up. He knew, because he knew if he got out the fraction, whether it was going to come back. Brought the line in, and well played shot from Darren Goodin. See whether that result looks like Goodin makes his way back to the mat. The Paritutu supporters. Paritutu supporters sitting there as Darren Goodin endeavouring to add to the count after moving the bowl with his first. Coming down towards the back end of the rink now and draws right to the jack. Toucher, in fact. Hats off. Drew applause from both sides, and it was 3. Yeah, great conversion. Fantastic. 3 shots, 15-8. And those are the shots that at this stage of the game, they get you into finals.
Our tournament director, Chris Land, has just told me Martinborough are up 13-4 after 13, and he's gone to get the other score for us from the other women's game. So Martinborough still in a strong position in the men's.
So great result, great bowl from Darren Goodin there, moving that jack and then drawing a front toucher as well. 3 shots in the context of the game.
This end zone, the women's rink has turned around since I left the seat. Come back and the Pirongia have drawn 2 great bowls and hold 2.
Just please need Barrie Andrews. Sorry, we can't bring anything from the men's match. We'll go to the women.
In the women's game, Patricia Murray's wandering up the head to have a closer look, see what she's got to do to get out of this position. But I don't think there's anything further back on the head than that, so she's got a very difficult job to get anything other than 1.
12-8, 13 ends.
Back goes Patricia Murray, picks up a bowl.
And the first Paritutu bowl, a metre or so over the head, that being the bowl of Nathan Goodin. And now just coming down lower the jack was Shayne Chisnall. Surely they're shaking hands.
You think so?
Yeah. Do you not want me to play this?
Bit of a laugh between the Pirongia players.
So,
all over.
Trying to get to that jack, a touch or great response from the young Taranaki player. Went by with his first, did Nathan Goodin, and draws a toucher.
Oh, they're a bit worried about it, hadn't they? Had a bit of pace on that. Could have cost them a shot. 2 to Pirongia. No sign of the handshake, however.
Well, we'll concentrate on this men's game as he got a flick onto the front bowl and got the jack.
And the women's semi-final is 7-all after 12.
Oh, well, that's anybody's, isn't it? That's Takapuna, of course, versus Palmerston North. Jack levels the shot. We'll concentrate on this Paritutu West End game out of the game.
Yep, I think the other one's over, but they haven't shaken hands.
So that's fine. Rodger Hassall now on the mat, 1 down. On the forehand is Hassall.
On his forehand, being a left-hander.
Looks on a good line coming down towards the centre line, and the jack looks to be getting some sort of result. Turns the bowl. Didn't quite get the full turn on it.
Didn't get it quite far enough, did he? But he's got 1 behind it now, 1 in front of it. So
it's a good hit. It's a good hit for Paritutu to play to.
It's already very tight, isn't it?
And, looking at the ends, you're playing 14, you're leading 15-8.
Yep.
We dropped 1, 9. Board's pretty handy, isn't
Correct.
it?
It's already a good tight head, which doesn't look to offer big numbers.
And Paritutu can just look for that, possibly draw to get a movement. It's not a big number head. Good bowl here, though, coming in and applauded by Barrie Andrews, just over the head from Tom Taiaroa.
Your weight's perfect,
And there's highlights here. This is good skipping. You'll see here from Paritutu. They're saying, right, let's get another bowl on the other side of the head. And really, it's a game of checkers. What we're really saying is we're happy for you to have 1.
Yep, just split them up. Just make sure that they haven't got 2 together.
We'll split them up, and there's no big numbers lying around. That's really what Paritutu are playing here.
And paying it pretty well by the look of this.
This is a good bowl here for Rodger Hassall. Sits inside exactly where he wants it.
Rests on the opposition bowl. Now back there, there's 2 of the Paritutu bowls and 1 of West End. So, again, no chance of numbers as yet.
very proud history, of course, the Paritutu club, and you know they've had over the years, you know, just a plethora of
Possibly down to that, Sheryl.
champions
Play
and
as though you
titles
are.
and
Play
ultra
true to the
competitive
team, mate.
club, and great to see these guys here. That and good team here. And the great thing about Champion and Champions is, of course, as well, Dave, is that you know these guys have been are playing with their club mates.
Yes.
And they've played
Try
through the
only
club
need a net
championships.
more,
They've
Sheryl.
played through with their club mates. Then they've played in their provincial again with their club mates, and now they're here at a national final. And it's also what builds strong clubs, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes. And Paritutu, as you said, is a great facility. They're 3-green club. They've had the centre office there for some time. I'm not sure if it's still there, but it used to be.
To the best of my knowledge, it's still at Paritutu.
A 6-green indoor rink.
Playing here, just play it through to me.
So they've got it all there.
That's
well,
us, that's us.
I'd say that. Well, I was very fortunate.
Yeah,
It
Sheryl.
was a pleasure being a member at Paritutu for a few years when I was living at home, and Barrie Andrews isn't going to let us see what's going on. But yeah, great club, Paritutu. In that very
Three of us
competitive
lads,
environment
Sheryl,
of
let's go.
Taranaki, I can, you know, but it's all good. It's great. Good.
And as we said, big facilities like that well represented, and little facilities like Martinborough. And probably Pirongia is not very big either, being a semi-country club. So an interesting mix of clubs we have with us over the weekends.
I think Pirongia had about 30 members. I think. So this becomes an end now for Barrie Andrews of what do I do now? Because one end to go. And
Hit it.
Not sure she heard you, mate.
hit it's the call.
Beating the
Yep,
red
we just
one,
had an
guys.
update. Martinborough lead 13-5, 1 end to play. So Taiaroa on the
On
south
the
need an 8.
drive, looking for the kill. Got the kill clean. At West End. Timaru got the
Not quick
jack
enough for my age.
clean.
Thank you.
And in the
What do you want to do?
other match,
Last end, 8 the difference.
I'll make these young bastards.
and in the women's, it's
Didn't get an update. We gave that a few minutes ago, 7-all.
Good shot. We're holding one, but one's no good.
so 13-5 Martinborough. Well, it's fair to say
Almost impossible.
yes, and what a great season then Martinborough have had.
Absolutely. We talked earlier on how many times they've been to this thing. We can count 5 out of the 8 events they've participated in. They've already won 1, and now they're getting into another final.
So Jack delivered by the Paritutu lead by Nathan Goodin. Barrie Andrews was sort of in, well, like the no man's land. So Nathan Goodin now on the mat. Got the ball out on a very good arc towards the centre line and will duly be rewarded. And that's the sort of, this stage of the game, Dave, those are the sort of,
You're still
that's the bowls that you
You're
want
still
just in behind the
looking
head,
to
aren't they?
beat
They're
this
sort
bowl.
of, you're not
Take
going to
your
get into
green
too
out
much
there,
trouble,
mate.
one would
I don't
think.
care if you're in there.
It's interesting. We just had a shot of that board. There it is again. Does that look like an 18-8 rather than 3?
18-3, 15-8.
Yeah, but look at the board.
Well-
Looks different to what we're getting on our graphic.
Yeah.
But I didn't see them pick up any big ends.
No, I didn't either, but yeah, it's. I think it's a. We know what the result is most likely.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Dean. Nice to be here at your club here in Hastings, and I hope your first weekend of enjoyment at Musgrave Hill, although the results didn't go so well, but all the best, mate, and enjoy.
Close.
Here comes Skye. See it close, she got an edge and missed the lot, unfortunately. Very close.
So the mat now is, of course, the lead for the West End club, and the Paritutu side got one. Let's lower the jack, one and behind.
Here we go, our graphic on the women's board's been updated. It's 18-6,
Oh, hard luck. Yeah,
playing
it was nothing but
in
net.
13 to 15.
Now, if they're shaking hands or they're having a cup of tea and
No,
a
they're having a cup of
conversation?
tea and a conference in
Yeah,
the middle.
well, we'll just concentrate on the men.
But there's lots of laughing and joking going on as they pass.
So here is Rodger Hassall on the back end. Looks as though the front bowl is shot. Another good. This bowl of Hassall's, if it nestles in amongst these two, that's
Yep,
exactly
good home,
where
splitting them up again.
they've split them up, and it's just becoming really challenging for Barrie Andrews to get at this stage of the game, one end to go to get a head to build on, isn't it?
Yep.
Tom Taiaroa on the back end, reaching down to the shot bowl of Nathan Goodin's. Looked a pretty good line out of the hand, and Julie was. Gets a touch on the jack, just moves it around the corner. Goodin instructing Rodger Hassall.
And again, according to that board, they're on end 14 of 15 because it's 13 played on the board. So
Hassall on the backhand in this semi-final, who will be likely to play Martinborough. Looks to be on the wide side, needs to work back from there. We'll see how far it's come back. Oh, well, it did come back metre and a half over the head. And Tom Taiaroa, after moving the jack with his first on his forehand, gives the old fist clench. Sometimes tends to think we're a bit heavy, but to me this looks pretty good as it comes down towards the jack and there sits in a line. Well played from the,
looks like second shot, doesn't it?
certainly does, and for the Paritutu side, we'll see whether they've got a clear view on that backhand to draw down. You can just see the head. Yeah, Barrie Andrews just moves. We can see the head. There you see it. Trying to get down to the jack. Great attempt here from the youngster. Look at this. Doesn't get much better than that.
It does not. And I think the kitty just went flying on the women's ring.
I don't think the jack's
Not sure if it stayed live.
Your bowl's dead.
It's well played by the youngster. That shows.
It's over. That's the women's game is over, so we can now concentrate on the men. So a sizable win to Pirongia. We're not quite sure of the final score, but
So that's the side of Gaylene, Kanawa, Denise, Momo, and Sheryl, Olsen, and Vicki, Coll. And they will feature in the final here this afternoon. And at this stage, we're not sure whether it will be Takapuna or Palmerston North. And on the drive is Garry Ford. Got the front of the head.
as you can see, we're now on widescreen, Kevin. Only one screen.
And very impressive, this young number 3, Adam Collins. And I hope, my friend, Mr. Batley, the Taranaki selector, you've got a ring around this boy's name because he's, that shot was under pressure that he played down.
Absolutely, yeah, 2 down.
And just drew dead flat to the jack. And that's not the first time he's done that. So on the backhand is Collins, after just playing that counting shot, coming down again.
Darren Goodin's looking closely again as he comes down. Lifts his head now, but he's just going to pull up that bit shy.
But of course, the difficulty for the difficulty for the Timaru side, of course, is that Dave is trying to get a scoring hit at this stage of the match, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's one, as I said, 1 or 2 is no good at this stage with only 2 to go.
So
Just 1 and 1 more.
on the mat is Garry Ford. Well, there may not be one more.
It may not be, but if he scores, there could be 1 more. But
Yeah, what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that if the way how it's sitting
Way
at
out
the moment,
sitting, it could be all over. Yeah, correct.
I don't think Barrie Andrews would be the sort of guy to play for an 8. But who knows? And of course, the problem for Andrews is that bowl is in fact locked in right behind the jack. It's not sitting.
Gotta hit it, mate.
It's not. Got to hit it. There we go. That's
Yep.
it. So of course they killed the previous end, and going for the kill again, which is really their only shot option because there's no scoring option. So here is Garry forward, and wow,
Everything but killed it.
everything
Plenty of
back
bowls
there is
moved.
locked still on the blue bowl.
Yep.
I'd run out of energy. Sorry.
Just been updated on the other two semi-finals that we haven't been watching. Martinborough finished 14-5 winners over Taiaroa South, and Takapuna lead Palmerston North 9-7 after 13.
9-7 at 13. Well, that's
Two to go.
2 to go. Anybody's match. Paritutu holding the shot here. Are they through to the final? We'll really know after 4 bowls. Holding shot.
So even if I pushed it through.
And really, got to Barrie. It's the other man's head now. You got to move aside.
Yep, I was surprised to see him up there. You've been around long enough to know that it's not his head, shouldn't be there.
So I'm sure we'll see here that Darren Goodin, yeah, he's quite happy. I'll draw to the back.
All around the back in case the kitty does fly.
And the big thing is there's no 3s or 4s on jack removal. So as you rightly said, Dave, it's a kill option or nothing.
Yeah.
And isn't it great to see those 2 youngsters standing there for the Paritutu side? And they are youngsters.
They are youngsters and they look very relaxed about it all, don't they?
They certainly have, and right throughout this event, they haven't shown anything
Negative
other than
emotions.
just calmness,
Yeah.
and they've just got on with it. So well done, and I know the great Johnny Murder's doing a great job down there in Taranaki and at Paritutu with so many of these youngsters, and it highlights watching these guys play. This is going to be gone and past.
One more bullet to fire and the game could be over.
Could well be.
Darren Goodin stands on the mat. Where's he going to put this one?
Well, there's no sense in going near the head, is
No.
there? There, yeah, right.
There
He
you
said,
go. Adam Collins.
Just come out here
Just
to this
indicates
wide,
round the back, out
to
of the
this
way.
wide site out here, and that's Julie what he's doing. So on the mat is Barrie Andrews. We'll be going for the kill again. This may find our other finalist. Here is the Timaru player on the mat, on the forehand drive, trying to get to the jack to kill. Got the jack, killed it again.
We just had a change of score for that other semi-final of the men's. It was actually 13-10 in the end as Bay of Plenty's representative Taiaroa South picked up a 2-1-5 to finish, so 13-10, the signed card. But still a Martinborough win.
Well, so if you'd be looking for a possible club of the year this year, Martinborough could.
On playing form and on administration and development of their club to resurrect their green and all sorts. Yes, you'd be correct.
They've done a wonderful job, haven't they?
They certainly have, yep.
So we have the replay, and of course no time limit, and
Even if there was, for kill it would be
still would have
playing.
been. And we just need these 2 skips to stand apart, please. I must have
One
just
got the message.
got the message. So there's the first bowl from
They want to get, no, you need to break.
Nathan Goodin.
Good line, a couple of feet behind the head by the look of it.
Been very impressed with this number. Adam Collins is number 3 for
Yep.
the.
Both the youngsters have played well, I think.
Yeah, they have. They've been, just no pressure, and
And Rodger Hassall certainly played some great covering bowls, and Darren Goodin just tidied up the heads if need be. So they've played a pretty strong team game.
They played a very steady side, haven't they? Really, and haven't really haven't really had many ends where you can say they're in trouble.
No, they've all done their job. Just a good performance all round.
So
Another good bowl from young Nathan Goodin.
the good news is, of course, 2 copper win yesterday, win the Taranaki Championship. And now these Paritutu boys,
Yep,
they're trying to do the same.
could be a good weekend, Kevin, for Taranaki.
Yeah. Well, it's, these boys are 2 copper supporters that are there now. So Rodger Hassall, very much so, a 2 copper supporter.
Yep.
Here is Hassall on the mat.
My memory serves me correctly. 2 coppers pretty much across the road from the West End Bowling Club.
Directly across the road.
I thought it was. And you said it was played at Vogeltown Park yesterday.
Yeah,
I think you can
neutral ground.
and I think you can look down on that from the West End Bowling Clubbers too.
No, that's the other. That's another one as well. So in there you've got 2 copper as well, who are in at Sanders Park,
Yep.
and then you've got Western Park, which looks over the hill from where the West End Bowling Club is.
Was that Western Park down there?
Yeah, it's the home of football. Well, one of the homes of football and cricket, and they've got the panoramic view of Mount Taranaki from there. Sitting.
Yep. I played 1 year of senior cricket in Taranaki many moons ago when I was up there working for the Taranaki Education Board, which of course has been defunct since 1989 when they reviewed education.
Great place, the Naki.
Absolutely.
Rodger Hassall was a very good cricketer in his younger days, and also a handy cricketer in his days, and going away, is away now with the New Zealand side, the bowls team in the Paris. Graham Scullen, who played cricket at Plymouth Boys High and played senior cricket in Taranaki. Very good tennis player.
One of those we were talking about before, Kevin, natural at most sports. Like we talked about Gavin Hamlin.
Well,
Straight over, gets straight into the game. Having come from golf, played that well, now plays bowls well.
it's interesting in Taranaki, in where both West End, with the 2 copper rugby club is, and the West End Bowling Club and Paritutu just down the hill. The number of ex-rugby guys, they just migrate to these clubs. Slide, jack, yes, fall.
Toucher.
Well, it's on. It was, people say, oh, it was lucky. Well, no, it's...
If you look at that head now, all those back bowls come into play and they're all Paritutu.
And, if they're going for the jack, going for the kill straight away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got a good chance too because it's 2 bowls wide.
It's
and
a
the
good
kiddies on
target,
angle to
isn't
go.
it? For the Timaruma Garry Ford, but he's outside it.
Not
Goes
the way
by.
I would have played it, I wouldn't think. I would have played it on the other hand. Maybe he prefers to drive on the backhand.
Well, one would have thought so because, it's playing at the Masters the other way, wasn't it?
Yep.
And trail the jack, take away the kill. And that's what Adam
Plays his
Collins.
bowl, looks very relaxed, runs up.
Oh, he's
in the territory again, isn't he?
looking for. He's there again. Have a look at this. He's there again. Oh, I wanted to get the jack around the corner.
Unfortunately, he's really built a chance now for the kill because there's 3 bowl target.
He has, but the
But he was
good thing
unfortunate.
was he made every endeavour to play.
Yep.
There it is, back turn, gone.
It was a long way away, wasn't it?
Well, it looks like the Auckland Harbour Bridge sitting in front of you there, doesn't it, really? But I'm quite sure that Barrie Andrew will be in the target area.
What do you think
pretty
Darren Goodin might do here? Play up with a little bit of weight himself and try and turn that kiddie out of harm's way?
Oh, absolutely.
Doesn't matter if he pushes it over to the left of the screen as we look and might drop one.
Well, I was going to say he could turn around the corner and give the shot away.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter, does it?
No, it doesn't matter at all.
So here is on the mat the Taranaki Scap from the Paritutu club, Darren Goodin, and playing on that backhand. And he's certainly playing to reach and turn, isn't he?
He is.
He's not. He's certainly trying to get that jack to move somewhere. Well, just
Gives himself another shot, but still got the target for Barrie Andrews to kill it.
Because you could hit that outside ball and not kill it at all.
Yep, correct.
Andrews on the mat. Timaru, South Canterbury, opening batsman on the backhand drive. Watching it closely outside, jar, shot, now kill it.
Yeah, he's got difficulty now. He played a good bowl, but got a
Played a good bowl.
poor result.
Holding shot.
And Paritutu is still holding shot. Barrie Andrews has got a hell of a job to kill that now because there's not really anything set up to kill it.
So we can confirm that the other the finalists have been found from the other match, and it will be Martinborough from the Wairarapa Centre that are through, and in the women it is the girls from Pirongia.
Yep, they're through.
They're through.
And the other match, we still await the final result.
So, will it be now Martinborough versus Paritutu?
Seems most likely the outcome, doesn't it?
Looking very much that way. And who will it be, Pirongia v Takapuna or Pirongia versus Taiaroa? Barrie Andrews looking. I think he realises this is hard.
Yeah.
So this is the semi-final, the last of the semi-finals that we're bringing you from the Somerset Champion and Champions. Here's the Paritutu side from New Plymouth, who are leading the west end of Timaru. And it's ironical if the nearest club to Paritutu in New Plymouth is West End.
West End, you're correct.
Up the hill, so...
And that looks like the board next door of the last semi-final. We don't know the result of, but the printing is too small for my eyes to read.
So Martinborough are through.
Yes.
And Pirongia are through in the women's.
And we'll see what happens with this bowl. It could be Paritutu's through.
Barrie Andrews on the mat. Skip for the West End side from Timaru. At pensive look is Andrews.
And he decided he's not trying to kill it by the look of that.
Not trying to kill it.
He's got to try and get shots and see if he can keep himself in the game.
Shake hands time.
1 down, 8 behind. Will he continue? Doesn't look like they're shaking hands, does it? Paritutu signalled the head shot. His players are looking down to see if he's going to shake hands.
The West End players from Timaru were all set to shake hands.
Yep. But the skip didn't give them the lead to do so. So here we go, one more end, and they need 8 shots to draw. So if they get that, we'll then have another We'll have another end after that as well. But
so the Garry Murawai skip side, and it's a fine tribute to Garry, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
For the work that he's done. Him and his wife have done at the Martinborough Club. It is a fitting reward that they're through to another
final,
another champion and champion finals.
Yep.
And if you're looking at the Wairarapa Sports Awards for next year for the Club of the Year,
they'd be going a long way towards it now, wouldn't they?
They certainly would be. And this is going a good way to make sure you're not going to drop 8 shots too.
And interestingly enough, the last final they won was a little club against a big club, and it'll be the same again this afternoon.
Yeah, well, it's
the final
one
they
of the
beat
great
Carlton
things.
Cornwall, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And for those who don't know where the Pirongia club is, well, it's just a little club in the rural environment of the Waikato.
Yep. We had Vicki Coll on last night telling us about the little club that she plays for.
And it's great to see them now through to a national final.
Here's another good bowl by Nathan Goodin just to rub
he's
it in.
going to sit on that and sit past it. Well,
Might not have shot, but he's got 2 damn good bowls for the team that the opposition needs 8.
You're not going to drop 8, are you?
No, you're not.
You get on to the TAB.
You'd only get $1.01.
And especially if this bowl's short.
And wide.
Yeah, I think you might see Barrie Andrews just, yeah.
Well, if he's going to continue, he should be calling for the drive from about now, shouldn't he?
Now, because there's
no 8 there.
There's not at all. And
just to add to it, Rodger Hassall draws almost a toucher.
Sit's going to sit, in fact, on what was the shot bowl. Yeah. So,
Tommy,
no,
try here, mate. You're trying to push that through. You're playing through to here.
Trying to push through. There's Tom on the backhand, the youngster. But always great to see the younger players at the latter stages of these events.
Yep, we're getting to see more and more of them too, aren't we?
Oh,
some really promising players.
That makes things harder.
Again?
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of them. And Barrie Andrews again taking ownership of the
space we need to see.
So there you'll see and coming up short is Hassall.
Just draw.
Just draw. I think that's just...
Just draw, yep.
I thought that's just conceding, don't you then? Just draw.
Yeah. Yep, I don't think he's going to go for a kill and try again for 8, sounds like. But we'll know when the number 3 steps up what the story is. Not a bad effort, just slightly under green. Probably had the right weight on.
Can't see the jack now to kill it.
No.
So there becomes the... So, things looking good for the Paritutu club. Remember those players of the past years, that Ken Murder, John Murder, Dave Baldwin, Bill MacArthur,
Brian Baldwin,
you know, Gary Mounsey, Bruce Ballinger, Jim Christie.
Spurtle was another name in that club for a while too.
Barney Spurtle, Bruce Johns. There's a plethora of champions that come out of Paritutu, and standing up on the roadside there over the fence, watching down on Paritutu and feeding the eels in the river.
Yes, it runs between the green behind the clubhouse, doesn't it?
Certainly does. I've seen in the old days numerous times when we had those big winter floods, that back green at Paritutu awash with, and across the road to St Joseph's School, that used to fill up like a lake through there.
The only one drawback I can think of Paritutu is that bloody main road to the port, and the number of trucks that go past when you're trying to...
It is the main road. It is, well, I can tell you, it's interesting. Well, not interesting really, Dave, but when the power station and all the big work in Motunui and all those big jobs that were going on, all the offshore jobs, where Paritutu was, it was like a lookout, because people could pull up along both sides of the road there and
see what was going on.
There was all these huge trucks going past right throughout the day, carrying things out to Motunui and the other offshore exploration places. And of course, the Paritutu Club in the old days was, well, let's say there was a lot of watersiders that played bowls at Paritutu. There was a very big influence of the watersiders, etc., at Paritutu.
And I think while we've been talking, we've seen the concession from, although they're still playing it, but there were no drives for the number 3. So I think Barrie Andrews has just decided we'll just...
He's indicated, that's it.
It's all over. So I think we've got 3 bowls left to play in this game.
3 left to go, and we know that, of course, that Martinborough.
will be playing against Paritutu.
They're through, and we know that Pirongia are through, and they will play either Takapuna
Or Palmerston North.
Palmerston North. And the last score update had Takapuna in front
By a couple. When the screen was a little wider a couple of minutes ago, they were still out there because the Palmerston North player was just picking up a bowl, so there's definitely still out on the green.
So shake hands time. It's all over. There it is. The Paritutu side. Paritutu side skipped by Darren Goodin. Adam Collins at number 3. Rodger Hassall at number 2. Nathan Goodin leading. They've defeated the South Canterbury side from the West End Club in Timaru of Barrie Andrews, Garry Ford, Tom Taiaroa and Shayne Chisnall. So a convincing win really to Paritutu, and they will now play Martinborough in the final of the men's champion and champion fours. We know that Pirongia are through in one of the semi-finals from the women, and we're just awaiting the result now from the other semi-final, which our last update, it was Takapuna who had a narrow lead over Palmerston North. So we'll be back with all the live action for the finals as soon as we're all set to go. We'll be back with all of the live action.